Chapter 761, Is the Undead World Real? Without another word, Antares immediately entered Lin Mo's soul. A strand of consciousness firmly stared at the skill star core that was about to be transformed into a star. At the same time, it said, "You brat, you're definitely doing this on purpose." Lin Mo shook his head, "Definitely not. I think you are. I guarantee it with my personality." "You still have a personality? Just tell me, how many secrets have you tricked me into revealing?" "That's a different matter." The two bickered until the skill star core exploded, and a small black dot appeared. Antares immediately shut its mouth, focusing all its attention on the small black dot. The small black dot held infinite attraction for it. Antares was extremely serious when examining the small black dot, and would not be distracted in the slightest. Lin Mo was also looking at the small black dot, but he still couldn't see anything. The small black dot was mysterious and emitted an extremely strong attraction, drawing him in. However, his level was not high enough. According to Antares, people at his stage were only able to remember the aura of the small black dot, and had not yet reached the point of truly viewing and appreciating it. Antares used the word, appreciating, at the time, which made Lin Mo very curious about what was inside the small black dot. Lin Mo watched it again and again, and his memory of the aura became more and more profound. There were still many opportunities. Lin Mo had far more chances to see the small black dot than others, and his memory was far more profound. Half a second was just a blink of an eye. Lin Mo remembered the aura, and then turned his attention to the newly rising spell star. After this spell star formed, it flew towards another spell star. The two spell stars sensed each other and established a connection. Strands of thin lines extended out, connecting the two spell stars together. Dual star spell. Lin Mo was overjoyed. The connected spell star was that summon elemental lich that had just been converted last time. This also meant that the skill that was moved and converted this time was a summoning skill. Only after summoning skills were converted into spells could they form a connection and interaction with that summon elemental lich. Summoning, skeleton, curse. Lin Mo had categorized his skills in his mind. Summoning was the largest category and the foundation of his profession. He had long been looking forward to the formation of a multi-star system for summoning spells. It had finally happened. With anticipation, Lin Mo checked the spell star that had just been successfully converted. Summon Skeleton God Warrior, Fusion Degree 100%. Summon Skeleton God Warriors, who usually hibernate within the star, connecting to the undead world, and can descend into the real world when needed. The combat power of the Skeleton God Warriors will be determined by the Master's soul level. At the moment the spell star formed, Lin Mo felt that a large space had suddenly opened up in his summoning space. All the skeleton berserkers inside entered the spell star. A group of small black dots appeared on the spell star. These small black dots looked so inconspicuous, occupying only an insignificant area on the spell star. Even describing it as a drop in the bucket would be an understatement. But these small black dots were actually 100,000 skeleton god warriors. As the master, Lin Mo could clearly sense these skeleton god warriors hibernating in the spell star, waiting to be summoned at any time. And with their addition, a mass of gray substance appeared in the center of the spell star. This mass of substance emitted a rich undead aura, as if it came from another world. From the undead world, the undead aura spread rapidly, enveloping the spell star. The light on the spell star suddenly changed, becoming silvery white, with a hint of gray in the silvery white. This change lasted for more than 5 minutes, completed under Lin Mo's witness. From then on, the spell star became the habitat of the skeleton god warriors. Could it be that the undead world really exists? Doubt arose in Lin Mo's heart. He had always thought that the undead world was just a fictional world, just a name. Later, when the undead law appeared, he felt that the undead world was just a projection created by the law, still illusory. Now his thinking had changed again. The undead world seemed to really exist, located in another unimaginable dimensional space. These skeletons, undead legions, etc., were all species from the real undead world. They were both dead and alive, between death and life. This also confirmed that the undead law carried vitality. Seemingly dead, but actually alive. Seemingly alive, but actually dead. Lin Mo suddenly understood what was meant by immortality, and had a deeper understanding of these two words. Your spell star is a bit strange. The appearance of the spell star will change according to the essence of the spell. But your spell star seems to be connected to another world, possessing an aura completely different from the real world. Antares saw through the essence at a glance. With its realm level, this kind of thing could not be hidden from it. Lin Mo did not intend to hide it, and told it the detailed information of the spell. Antares marveled, not bad, then why don't you try how strong the skeleton god warriors are? And what is the effect of the dual star spell? Lin Mo smiled and shook his head, no hurry, there may be changes later, we'll test it together then. His soul power was still incredibly abundant at this time, and he could move many more skills over. If there were more summoning skills, he could completely form a 3-star, or even 4-star or 5-star spell. The strength of the spell would also change accordingly, so testing now would not be of much significance. Antares urged Lin Mo, then why don't you hurry up and move them, I'm very curious. Choose carefully, don't move the wrong one, and don't be careless this time, I'm still waiting to kill people. Lin Mo was in a good mood at this time, and agreed to Antares, don't worry. He broke into the skill space again. Looking at the remaining 14 skill star cores in the skill space, Lin Mo's heart moved, and his soul power swept over, instantly locking onto 2 skill star cores. Moving 2 at once, this could satisfy Antares' requirements. The key was still the excessive soul power. With a soul level of 94 and the refinement of the 9-colored dragon soul crystal, Lin Mo Yu's soul power was extremely pure. One portion of Lin Mo Yu's soul power was comparable to 5, 6, or even 10 portions of other professional of the same level. On this basis, Lin Mo Yu's total soul power far exceeded others. Even Lin Mo Yu himself couldn't calculate how big the gap was between himself and others. For other professions, level 80 and above was the beginning of accessing the skill space. Only at levels 86 and 87 did they begin to attempt to move skill star cores, and most wouldn't succeed. After all, moving 2 was enough to become a god. But for Lin Mo Yu, moving skill star cores was incredibly easy and effortless. This created a fundamental difference that other professionals could not bridge, no matter what. A few hours later, under Antares' witness, Lin Mo Yu moved 2 skill star cores into his soul world. Antares widened his eyes, you moved 2 at once. Lin Mo Yu retorted, otherwise. If it was 1, you wouldn't have a chance to kill me again. You're a freak, a real freak. Antares couldn't help but curse. In the last era, there was an arrogant idiot. I had him walk this path, and the guy walked it with difficulty and suffering. Moving a skill star core would cost him half his life. You kid, you moved 2 at once. If that arrogant idiot knew, he'd probably be pissed to death. Lin Mo Yu smiled, then I must tell him if I have the chance in the future to piss him off. I just don't know if he's still alive. The last era was too long ago. With the lifespan of humans, they might not be alive now. Antares said, that idiot is still alive, and seems to be doing quite well. Chapter 762, looking at one with the left eye and another with the right eye. To live from the last era to now, it's been at least several thousand years. With the lifespan of humans, to live for thousands of years, one's strength must be extremely powerful. Lin Mo Yu had long known that the last era was very strong. In the last era, there were several super gods, and they existed simultaneously. There were also over 100 half-step super gods. As for high-level gods, there were countless. It was much more prosperous than the era they were in. With so many strong individuals in the last era, there must have been people who took different paths of advancement. Antares would also choose suitable people to embark on the path of the strongest. However, from what Antares said, the people of the last era were not as good as himself. Lin Mo Yu smiled slightly, perhaps we will meet in the future. Antares nodded, as long as that guy is still alive, you should meet, after all, you come from the same world. But that arrogant idiot likes to court death, so he might die one day. It was clear that Antares didn't like that guy. Lin Mo Yu didn't know what had happened between them, but they probably didn't become friends in the end. When Antares mentioned the other party, he didn't seem to be joking, but was genuinely disdainful. The 2 skill star cores were moved into the soul world, and then soul power was injected into them. Lin Mo Yu's ability to multitask was already very advanced, and he used it with ease. With Lin Mo Yu's current surplus of soul power, feeding 1 skill star core was no problem, but wanting to feed 2 skill star cores at the same time was quite difficult. Moreover, he had just exhausted his soul power not long ago, and hadn't fully recovered yet. Before long, his soul power was completely exhausted. I'm coming, Antares cried out excitedly and acted directly. He wasn't polite at all, having killed Lin Mo Yu so many times, he had already gained experience. Super God level power bombarded him, without any laws, purely physical power. There was also no damage, purely physical attacks. Antares had said that when physical power reached a certain level, it could unleash terrifying destructive power without relying on laws. Moreover, there were thousands of laws, and there were also related laws. The most famous was the law of power in the second echelon. Antares used pure physical attacks to bombard Lin Mo Yu. But with one strike, white light flashed on Lin Mo Yu's body, and damage transfer took effect, and he still stood there. Didn't kill through. Antares was stunned for a moment, and wondered, shouldn't be. Although Lin Mo Yu had risen from level 83 to level 86, crossing 3 levels. But the essence hadn't changed much, and the increase in defense was nothing in Antares' eyes. In theory, this strike should have dealt a fatal blow to Lin Mo Yu. Lin Mo Yu was also a little strange, and after thinking for a moment, he understood the problem. The problem lay in the new spell star, the spell Summon Skeleton God Warrior. The Skeleton God Warrior was clearly stronger than the previous Skeleton Berserker, and Lin Mo Yu hadn't specifically checked how much stronger, but according to the explanation of the spell, it was equivalent to his soul level. That was the level of 94. The Skeleton Warrior suddenly increased from level 86 to level 94, especially after level 90, there would be a qualitative change. The Berserker became a God Warrior. This improvement was terrifying and comprehensive. Their strength also meant that Lin Mo Yu's defense had greatly increased. They withstood Antares' attack. Antares said casually, it's okay, then I'll add a little more. I'll increase the attack power to Super God level 3. Saying that he slapped Lin Mo Yu again. Before, he only used Super God level 1, now it was increased to level 3. This time the attack was successful, successfully activating the undead passive skill, and all members of the Undead Legion were reborn. Lin Mo Yu felt the attack power of Super God level 3, which was several times greater than before. From this, it could be analyzed that the gap between Super God level 1 and Super God level 3 was not small. From this, it could be analyzed that after the Super God level, each increase in level would greatly increase combat power. The higher the level, the greater the gap, which was completely understandable and normal. Just like the gap between level 20 and level 25 could be bridged, then the gap between level 90 and level 95 was almost insurmountable. Antares' second attack descended again. Still Super God level 3. The seemingly casual Antares judged very accurately, Super God level 3 could just deal a fatal blow to Lin Mo Yu. In fact, it was also indirectly telling Lin Mo Yu where his defense limit was. With 4 consecutive waves of attacks, accompanied by purple light flashing, Lin Mo Yu gained a complete rebirth. His soul power was completely restored, and he injected soul power into the 2 skill star cores again. Antares said with envy, your talent is really too good, I'm really envious. Lin Mo Yu joked, do you want me to give you half? TCH, knowing it's impossible. Antares couldn't hear it, turned his head and ignored Lin Mo Yu, with a proud look. Lin Mo Yu laughed, didn't you say that some strong individuals in the big world can steal other people's talents? Why don't you learn it? Anyway, I can't beat you. Antares was even more disdainful, what is my status, how could I do such a shameless thing? Stealing people's talents, only a vile race like the Soul Clan can do it. Your own is the best, the things you steal always have all kinds of problems. Antares paused, as if thinking of something, and tilted his head, but now that I mention it, I've remembered something. What is it? Lin Mo Yu asked. Antares shook his head, I won't tell you for now, I'll tell you later. That thing is in my dragon's nest, I don't know if anyone has taken it away. But it's okay, even if it's taken away, I'll make them spit it out. Lin Mo Yu knew that what Antares was talking about must be extraordinary. His soul force was exhausted again, and the 2 skill star cores were about to be filled, just needing one last push. Without Lin Mo Yu speaking, Antares had already taken the lead. A dragon tail would appear in the air, then a dragon claw, and even its chin was used. It seemed that Antares' whole body was a weapon, and every part could unleash terrifying attack power. Lin Mo Yu recovered to his peak state under its waves of attacks. The 2 skill star cores were burning fiercely, about to explode and transform into stars. Antares suddenly cried out strangely, crap. Lin Mo Yu looked over strangely, what's wrong? Why are you so jumpy? Antares said, 2 spell stars are being generated at the same time. There will be 2 small black dots. Which one should I look at? Lin Moyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just look at one with your left eye, and the other with your middle eye. Get lost. Do you think I'm watching a show? I need to be completely focused. Try it. How would you know if you don't try? Don't tell me you can't multitask. Ataris looked bitter. It seemed that he had no choice but to do so. If he only looked at one, the other would be wasted, and Ataris couldn't bear it. I guess I'm the first dragon in the entire dragon race to look at 2 small black holes at the same time. The great world was so big, anything could happen. 2 spell stars at the same time. Lin Moyu wouldn't dare to say that he was the first. But, Lin Moyu laughed, how about I try converting 3 at the same time next time? Just shut up, you're being too wasteful. Amidst Ataris's complaints, the fireballs exploded, and 2 spell stars slowly rose. Chapter 763. Just ordinary, don't be proud. Ataris really looked at the left with one eye and the right with the other. His appearance became very strange, a bit like being cross-eyed. Lin Moyu almost couldn't help but laugh, but then he thought it was impolite, so he held it back. The 2 small black dots had a richer aura than before, and Lin Moyu firmly remembered them. Ataris was completely absorbed by multitasking, lost in thought. Lin Moyu ignored it and instead felt the comfort from his soul. Paying soul force, and in return, gaining an increase in soul level, was a great deal. Soul force could be restored, but the increase in soul level was eternal. Using something that could be regenerated and restored to exchange for eternal improvement, what else could it be but a great deal? The soul level took another small step forward on the road to level 94. Although the improvement was not significant, progress was a good thing. Lin Moyu felt that when he emptied all the skill star cores, his soul level should be able to reach level 95. The newly converted spell stars actually intertwined and connected, directly forming a twin star spell. Then they flew towards the Summon Skeleton God Warrior, Summon Elemental Lich twin star spells, seemingly wanting to join them. Lin Moyu was stunned. Could it be such a coincidence? There were still more than a dozen skill star cores left, 5 of which belonged to summoning skills. He didn't expect that the 2 dragged out this time were actually both. That was the reality. The 4 spell stars were connected to each other, each rotating while also revolving around the other spell stars. They were running very stably and with great regularity. It looked like they were performing a beautiful dance. 4-star spell. During the twin star spell, the spells can interact with each other, just making it easier to use and adding many uses, but it doesn't increase the power of the spell. From 3 stars onwards, the power of the spell begins to increase significantly, and each additional star will greatly increase the power. Now it's a 4-star spell. The spell must be stronger, I just don't know if it can break the limit. The limit Lin Moyu was thinking of was his soul limit. The upper limit of the spell's power is based on his soul level. Even if it can be broken, it will only be slightly enhanced. At level 94, it can at most kill level 95, but there is no qualitative change. If this limit can be broken, that would be a real breakthrough. After all, others can comprehend the laws after level 96, allowing the spell to carry the laws. The power of the spell will be greatly increased. Perhaps the gap is not too big now, but if the mastery of the laws becomes deeper in the future, the gap will become larger and larger. Lin Moyu hoped that his spell could break the limit to make up for the lack of laws. Summon Skeleton God Mage Fusion Degree 100%. Summon Skeleton God Mage, who usually hibernates in the star, connects to the undead world, and can descend into the real world when needed. The combat power of the Skeleton God Mage will be determined according to the Master's soul level. Summon Skeleton Soul Archer Fusion Degree 100%. Summon Skeleton Soul Archer, who usually hibernates in the star, connects to the undead world, and can descend into the real world when needed. The combat power of the Skeleton Soul Archer will be determined according to the Master's soul level. His 3 major skeleton summons were all complete. And they formed a 4-star spell together with the Summon Elemental Lich. Lin Moyu was excited and almost couldn't help but check the attributes. But in the end, he held back. He planned to reveal the mystery at the end, and maybe there would be summoning skills dragged out to form a 5-star or even 6-star spell. Let the surprise come more intensely. Goodness, a 4-star spell. Ataris finally came back to his senses. Lin Moyu asked, are there many people in the great world who have 4-star spells? Ataris glanced at Lin Moyu. It's okay, Think about it, the great world is infinitely large, with countless races and countless geniuses. Although 4-star spells are not common, they are definitely not rare. Really? Lin Moyu expressed doubt. Ataris snorted, do you dare to question me? Lin Moyu openly questioned Ataris, that's not the same as what you said before. You used to say that multi-star spells were rare. Ataris immediately explained, what I said was that 6-star and 7-star spells are rare. 4-star spells are just ordinary. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Hurry up and continue, my hands are still itching. Ataris kept urging, looking very anxious. Lin Moyu chuckled, and his soul will went to the skill space again. Ataris left Lin Moyu's soul world and then muttered to himself in a voice that only he could hear, I can't let the brat be too proud. But I didn't lie, although 4-star spells are not common, they are definitely not rare. If the brat can really create 6-star or 7-star spells, then it's really. Ataris looked at Lin Moyu with sparkling eyes. He originally thought that Lin Moyu's talent had surpassed the evildoer and was like a monster. If Lin Moyu could still get 6-star or 7-star spells, he wouldn't know what language to use to describe it. As there were more and more spell stars in the soul world. AAA0 seeking fresh flowers. AAAAAAAAAA. More soul force was needed to maintain them. Only the surplus part could be used by Lin Moyu to move the skill star cores. Feeling his surplus soul force, Lin Moyu felt that he still had a lot of extra power after moving 3 skill star cores. I feel like I can move 5 or 6 more. Lin Mo roughly estimated that there shouldn't be any problems. He never overestimated himself, nor did he underestimate himself. As the number of skill star cores in the skill space decreased, the restrictions of the skill space became stronger. But it still couldn't stop Lin Mo, who was like a bandit. It could only be said that Lin Mo's soul power was too strong and too pure. The skill space could only act like a little wronged woman, complaining a bit, but it couldn't do anything to Lin Mo. Soon, the skill star core was transported to the soul world, and Lin Mo began to inject soul power without saying a word. At this time, the soul power was not as sufficient as before, even if there was only one, it could not be transformed into a star in one go. Antares smiled wickedly and made a move against Lin Mo. Watching the soaring spell star join the already formed 4-star spell system. Forcibly turning the 4-star spell into a 5-star spell. What a coincidence! Lin Mo, the master, didn't know how to describe his luck. It was another summoning type skill star core, his vision was too accurate. 5-star spell. A thunderous voice suddenly sounded in the soul. Antares looked at the 5-star spell in shock. Lin Mo asked strangely, aren't 4-star spells very common? 5-star spells shouldn't be rare either. Regarding Antares' reaction, Lin Mo seriously doubted the truthfulness of its words. If it was really common, there wouldn't be such a big reaction. It seemed that Antares wasn't telling the truth. Antares said, 4-star is very common, 5-star is much less, at least 100 times less than 4-star spells. But there are many people in the great world, and there are still many people who have 5-star spells, you must not be proud. Lin Mo looked at Antares, wanting to see something from this guy's eyes. Antares was a little guilty, what are you looking at me for? Look at the spell, what is it this time? Summon Death Knight Fusion Degree 100%. Summon Death Knight, usually dormant in the star, connected to the undead world, can descend into the real world when needed. The Death Knight's combat power will be determined according to the master's soul level. As the 5-star spell took shape, the soul world suddenly roared and began to vibrate violently. Chapter 764, Transcendent 7th Order, Soul Tracking. Another attribute disappeared. Since the job change, starting with the summoning of the first skeleton, the always existing attribute, summoning space. At this moment, it disappeared. Summoning space has always been an important attribute that determines the number of the undead army. Every time its space expands, the undead army can increase by dozens. Its importance is self-evident. But now, it disappeared. With its disappearance, the soul world began to vibrate violently, and an unimaginable drastic change was taking place. Summon Skeleton God Warrior. Summon Skeleton God Mage. Summon Soul Archer. Summon Death Knight. The stars representing these 4 summoning spells were also undergoing drastic changes at this time. They and the spell star of Summon Elemental Lich formed a 5-star spell, and the 5 stars attracted and rotated each other. In the stars, a large number of black spots appeared. These were all the undead army that Lin Mo once possessed. They disappeared from the summoning space and transferred to the spell stars, including those belonging to the Lich General as well. The disappearance of the summoning space also affected the Lich General. The Lich General's summoning space also disappeared at the same time. From this moment on, the Lich General seemed to be alone. Lin Mo could understand this change, but he was a little dumbfounded. Spells are high above, the Lich General has not yet been converted into a spell, it is still just an ordinary skill, not qualified to lead the spell, let alone a star-level spell. The difference between the two is too great, completely not on the same level. The vibration of the soul world was caused by these summoning-type spell stars. Their colors were changing, the original silver-white light began to fade, and gradually covered by gray gas. The gray gas was full of the aura of death, the undead aura that Lin Mo was most familiar with, belonging to the material of the undead world. These spell stars connected to the undead world, drawing out the aura of the undead world. This change continued for several minutes before finally stopping. At this time, the spell stars became half silver white and half gray. Silver white is the undead flame. Gray is the undead aura. The two looked distinct, without interfering with each other. But Lin Mo could feel that the relationship between the two was very harmonious, you and me and you. Antares was staring at the half-silver and half-gray spell stars without blinking. Your spell stars are a bit strange, I feel like they are missing something. Lin Mo nodded, it is indeed missing something. They are not complete yet. In the skill space, there are still 2 skill star cores, Summon Bone Dragon and Summon Lich General. Only by moving them all over and integrating them can they be complete. Then it will be a 7-star spell. Antares said, I remember, you still have summoning skills, right? Lin Mo nodded, there are 2 more. There are 2 more, if they are all moved over, then it will be a 7-star spell. Antares couldn't help but sigh. Lin Mo then looked at a spell planet in the distance. That spell planet represented Summon Skeleton King with a fusion degree of only 30%. The spell planet was dim and revolved around the star. If it could also be integrated, then there would be a chance to become an 8-star spell. Lin Mo didn't expect too much, 7-star is guaranteed, 8-star is the best. Some things cannot be forced. Although not forced, Lin Mo was confident that he would one day transform all the spell planets in the soul world into spell stars. He wanted to perfectly complete this strongest path, turning all spells into star level. Ambition, Lin Mo never lacked. At Antares' urging, Lin Mo entered the skill space again. The soul power was still abundant, and he could move several more. There were still 11 skill star cores left in the skill space. Lin Mo still followed his lazy method, choosing the closest one. The skill space seemed to have given up resisting, and Lin Mo did not encounter much resistance. It may also be because his soul power was too strong, and the skill space's resistance was useless. In just half a day, a brand new skill star core had appeared in the soul world. Following the established steps, injecting soul power, the skill star core began to shine. When Lin Mo Yu's soul force was exhausted, Antares excitedly slapped over. The power of a Tier 3 transcendent god was more than enough to shatter space. If it weren't for the fact that this area was relatively special and could be regarded as a special space created by Antares himself, which was extremely stable. If it were any other place, the space would have collapsed long ago. If this hit the Demon Emperor or the Dragon Emperor, they would definitely die. Such a terrifying slap landed on Lin Mo Yu, but Lin Mo Yu was unscathed. Antares was stunned, what the hell? Lin Mo Yu had expected this, my undead legion has become stronger. The implication was that my skin has become thicker again, and Tier 3 Transcendent God is not enough to kill me, 0. Antares shouted, you monster. A guy who was only level 86, even the power of a Tier 3 Transcendent God couldn't kill him. This was still pure physical strength, without using laws. If it were another Tier 3 Transcendent God, and they had comprehended elemental laws. If they fought Lin Mo Yu, they would probably cry. Lin Mo Yu could just stand there and let you hit him, without being hurt at all. Antares mourned for those guys in the Great World for 3 seconds, they might have their beliefs shattered. Antares increased his attack power, Tier 4 Transcendent God. Tier 5 Transcendent God. When it reached Tier 6 Transcendent God, Lin Mo Yu was once again fatally attacked. Lin Mo Yu said, attacks at the Tier 5 Transcendent God level can cause considerable damage to me. If there are 2 consecutive attacks, it can destroy the Undead Legion. Of course, this is on the condition that the Undead Legion is not released and maintains its current number. Tier 6 Transcendent God can kill me in this current state. If the number of Undead Legion increases further in the future, it may not be enough. Lin Moyu felt the attack and analyzed it in detail. Antares shouted, "Lin Moyu, you monster," again in his heart, but said, Tier 7 Transcendent God is a qualitative change in the Transcendent God tier, and it also has a special characteristic. Try it. Antares unhesitatingly increased his power to Tier 7 Transcendent God. A roar sounded in the air, and the attack power was greatly increased compared to before, as much as several times. Just like the difference between level 96 and level 95, it is a qualitative change in power, and 1.5 can also be seen as preparing for the next stage. The huge power landed on Lin Moyu, and the undead instantly collapsed collectively. Undying Undead skill activated. The next second, the undead resurrected, but immediately collapsed again. Immediately afterwards, the undead resurrected for the third time, but collapsed again after 2 seconds. 2 resurrections and 2 deaths directly activated the talent. Accompanied by purple light, Lin Moyu was completely reborn. The undead were reborn again, this time without collapsing again. Lin Jiu said with a hint of horror, "What's going on?" This is a characteristic that you only have after reaching Tier 7 Transcendent God, we call it soul tracking. In the great world, there are many races that have the talent to die for others, and some races can also be reborn with a drop of blood. But these talent characteristics will be greatly reduced in front of soul tracking. Antares explained it again, so that Lin Moyu understood its effect. Chapter 765 Antares's repeated admonitions. Attacks with soul tracking will continue to track an attack as long as the enemy's soul is not destroyed. Either the attack power is exhausted, or until the other party is killed, otherwise the attack will not stop. Antares looked at the shocked Lin Moyu and chuckled, "Now you know you're afraid, so don't think that you're thick-skinned enough and can resurrect and be unscrupulous. If you encounter a true god level, directly use soul tracking to attack you, even if you can resurrect 100 times, it's useless." Lin Moyu was indeed taken aback, but after thinking about it, he realized something was wrong. "That's not right, I can cut off soul tracking." Antares didn't expect Lin Moyu to react so quickly and find the loophole at once. His coax didn't succeed and failed to scare Lin Moyu. Brat is really clever, no wonder he's a monster. Antares thought in his heart, but said, "Maybe you can, but there are countless strong people in the great world, maybe there are other secret techniques. One wrong step will lead to death." Lin Moyu said, "I understand, okay, kill me again." Soul power was exhausted again, and the skill star core had not been completely fed. "Okay." Antares snorted softly and immediately started. Antares didn't use soul tracking, but killed him one after another. How could it let go of such a good opportunity? Although using soul tracking was quick, it was too unfulfilling. In the soul world, Antares once again turned into a cross-eyed chicken, staring at the burning skill star core without blinking. Lin Moyu was also like this, one person and one dragon, with similar expressions. The star core exploded, and the spell star rose from the flames. This time it was not a summoning skill, the spell star was self-contained and rotated alone. Lin Moyu was not disappointed. If this time didn't work, there would be next time. Anyway, it would all be converted, sooner or later. The spell star bloomed with unusual light, and a peculiar feeling spread from the spell star, flowing throughout his body. Even the soul was shrouded in this feeling. Lin Moyu felt like he was wearing an invisible armor that could resist all kinds of attacks. Passive spell. Lin Moyu was slightly startled. This was the feeling of a passive spell. Physical resistance fusion degree 100% passive spell. Self and summons are immune to all physical attacks, and damage from all physical laws is reduced by half. When he saw this spell star, Lin Moyu's mouth twitched, feeling both amused and exasperated. He knew that it would take more effort for Antares to kill him. Tier 7 Transcendent God was probably not enough. I wonder if Tier 8 Transcendent God would work. After Tier 7 Transcendent God, the power changed qualitatively, and each increase in tier would greatly increase the attack power. Completely different from before Tier 7. Lin Moyu glanced at Antares. This guy was still comprehending the small black spot. His eyes turned, ignoring this guy, and entered the skill space again to move skills. After a while, Antares woke up. Looking at the spell star that had formed, and then looking at Lin Moyu, sensing that his will was no longer here. Did I comprehend for so long? I don't know what skill Brat has this time. I'll ask later. Antares thought he had comprehended for too long. After all, time was not very meaningful to him. In the past, it was normal to sleep for dozens or hundreds of years. Lin Moyu quickly brought another skill star core and began to inject soul power. Kill me. Okay. Antares heard the words he liked to hear the most, and immediately slapped Lin Moyu. The power of a Tier 6 transcendent god was enough to destroy the world, shatter mountains and rivers. It was even possible to break a fragment world. But there was no movement at all when it landed on Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had already known this would be the result, but frowned. Is it okay, weak-foot dragon? Antares was stunned. That shouldn't be happening. Saying that, it tried again, but the result was still the same. The attack landed on Lin Mo's body, but there was no reaction at all. Antares clearly sensed that when its attack landed on Lin Mo's body, it suddenly disappeared. Lin Mo seemed to have become a black hole, swallowing all of its attacks. It didn't believe it and increased its attack power to Tier 7 Transcendent God, even using soul tracking. But it was still like a clay ox entering the sea, without the slightest ripple. Antares realized that something was wrong and yelled, "You brat, what kind of spell did you awaken?" Lin Mo explained with a smile. Antares opened its mouth wide. You're saying, you're immune to physical attacks. Physical elemental damage reduced by 8,100 times. Absolutely correct. Lin Mo was also a little excited at this time. Antares said, what are you excited about? I can't kill you, so how are you going to convert the skill star cores into spell constellations? Ah, Lin Mo had forgotten about this problem. Antares chuckled. Suddenly its eyes widened, and it let out a dragon's roar. A huge black shadow appeared in the air, and the black shadow turned into a huge dragon head that descended from the sky, crashing into Lin Mo's body. For a time, mountains collapsed and the earth trembled. Everyone in the upper layer of the eternal battlefield felt the immense pressure. Some people even fell to the ground, their faces horrified, not knowing what was happening. If Antares hadn't stabilized this space, the entire eternal battlefield might have collapsed. Lin Mo was instantly fatally attacked, and the Undead Legion collapsed instantly. Moreover, it collapsed 4 times in a row, directly activating the comprehensive rebirth talent. Lin Mo looked blank, not knowing what had happened. The whole process happened so fast that he didn't even react. Lin Mo deeply felt the crushing power, a terrifying attack that he couldn't resist. In the face of this power, any law damage reduction of 8,100 times was useless. He didn't even know what law Antares had used, he only knew that Antares must have used a law. Lin Mo thought of the previous time when Antares had used a similar power, and the entire eternal battlefield was like the end of the world. It's just that Lin Mo's feelings were not as clear as they were now. Antares laughed and said, now you know how powerful I am, right? Don't think you're immune to damage, you'll still die if you encounter a true god. This is just the power of a Tier 1 true god, you brat must not be arrogant. The gap between levels is truly terrifying. Tier 7 Transcendent God is already on a different level compared to Tier 6. The difference between True God and Transcendent God is even greater. Lin Mo put away the arrogance in his heart. I understand, thank you. Antares waved his hand. No need to thank me, just let me kill you a few more times. No problem. Lin Mo readily agreed to this small request. Another spell constellation was formed, and the two took what they needed. Bone Spear 100% fusion. Release bone spears to attack enemies, dealing physical damage. The spear has strong penetrating power, and its power is determined by the amount of spiritual power consumed. This time, it was the bone spear that was transformed, which was once one of Lin Mo's main attacking skills. After it was transformed into a spell constellation, it quickly approached the other bone-based spell constellations. The soul world began to vibrate violently again. Chapter 766. What realm am I in? Would I envy you? With the addition of the Bone Spear spell constellation, it formed a 4-star spell with Bone Prison, Bone Fangs, and Bone Armor. The 4 constellations burned fiercely, attracting each other and spinning continuously. In their center, a magical substance that cannot be described in words is being born. This substance carries a strong aura of law, and it is the manifestation of the undead law. After the law is manifested, the difficulty of comprehension is reduced by thousands of times, and Lin Mo can quickly comprehend and master the undead law through it. The formation of the 4-star spell system caused a violent vibration in the soul world. The light on the 4 constellations also became much brighter. Lin Mo knew that the power of the spells had increased again. Now it can really pose a fatal threat to level 96 high-level gods, instead of just causing some superficial injuries like before. Lin Mo felt his soul power, and there was still some to spare. He immediately went to the skill space non-stop. Antares woke up and saw the 4-star spell system that had just formed. 2 multi-star spell systems, and both are more than 3 stars. This world is crazy, how can such an existence appear? No wonder the Great World Rune wants to stop this brat. If it weren't for the Great World Rune suppressing him, who knows how strong he would be. A monster is a monster, it's difficult to speculate with common sense. Antares muttered to himself, it had nothing to say to Lin Mo. Watching Lin Mo move skill star cores one after another, effortlessly. Others would be half dead after moving 1 or 2, but Lin Mo was as simple as eating and drinking. Comparing people is really infuriating. But this is also good, it just allows Antares to check the small black spot over and over again. At its level, it is very difficult to advance even a little. Often it requires paying a great price, or spending a lot of time. Or, you can encounter those great opportunities. For Antares, watching the formation of the constellation, the small black spot that appears in that instant, is a great opportunity. And not just once, it watched it more than a dozen times. Antares suddenly felt that it was worth being trapped here for so many years. Who can watch the small black spot so many times? Even if people of the same race transformed constellations, who would dare to open up their soul world and allow others to enter without any scruples? No, there wouldn't be one. At the beginning, Lin Mo just said, "You are my friend." Until now, this can also be regarded as a kind of fate. Antares thought of its life in the Dragon Clan, it seems that it has no friends. Instead of having friends in the same race, it made a human friend, and it is the kind of friend who can open up the soul world. Fate, it's really wonderful. Soon, another skill star core was dragged over. Are you ready? Lin Mo asked with a smile. Antares sharpened its claws, what's there to prepare? I'm ready at any time. The scene that had been staged many times before was staged again. When the spell constellation was generated, the strange feeling swept through the body again. It's another passive spell, which one will it be? Now there are 2 passive skills left, namely status immunity and undead spirit. In fact, all of Lin Mo's skills were useful. Unlike many professions, there weren't 1 or 2 insignificant skills. The passive spell, a lone star standing apart from the world, seemed to carry a noble aura, incompatible with other spell stars. Its posture clearly showed that it was very different. Elemental resistance and physical resistance were both like that. When the star was completely stabilized, the spell information also popped out. Undead Spirit Fusion Degree 100%. Members of the Undead Legion will not die after suffering a fatal attack, but will be reborn to their peak state and continue fighting. Each undead has 5 chances to be reborn within 5 minutes. Spell cooldown time, 3 minutes. It changed, the skill changed, and Lin Mo's eyes also changed. The change from skill to spell was a bit too big. Rebirth no longer meant returning to the summoning space, but directly resurrecting on the spot, and returning to the peak state. Within 5 minutes, it could be resurrected 5 times, more than doubling the previous 2 times. Moreover, the cooldown time was shortened to 3 minutes, while it was 5 minutes in the skill state. It's just that Lin Mo had been using this skill in conjunction with his talent, so the shortened cooldown time wasn't very useful. In any case, after transforming into a spell, its practicality greatly increased. Lin Mo felt that he was even harder to kill. As long as he didn't face a true god, his safety was basically guaranteed. Even a transcendent god level, even a transcendent god 9th order, would have a headache trying to kill him. It's not that he couldn't be killed, but that he was hard to kill. Lin Mo told Antares about this spell, and Antares was very calm, without the slightest emotion. He just gave him a long look, you should have the bloodline of the Turtle Clan. Lin Mo didn't care, and said with a smile, you're just envious. What realm am I in? I would be envious of you. What nonsense are you talking about? Antares looked disdainful. Lin Mo didn't argue with it either. He once again drilled into the skill space. From Antares's eyes, it could be seen that it was fake to say he wasn't envious. This guy was envious before, let alone now. Entering the skill space again, the soul power was finally not so abundant. He had continuously moved 7 skill star cores, and each additional spell star would occupy a part of his soul power. Each spell star required a large amount of soul power during the transfer and conversion, and the maintenance after the conversion also occupied a large amount of soul power. Only the surplus soul power could be used to move the skill star core. The feeling of incomparably abundant soul power before disappeared, and it was not as easy to move as before. The skill space seemed to sense Lin Mo's change, as if it was mocking Lin Mo. As the skill star cores in the skill space became less and less, the binding force of the skill space on the star cores was rapidly becoming stronger. This also brought difficulty to Lin Mo's robber career. The skill space carried out effective resistance, but unfortunately, it still failed to stop Lin Mo, this big robber. Half a day later, the 8th skill star core in this time was moved out. I1/2 should be the last one. Lin Mo felt his remaining soul power and knew that he could no longer continue. There was still some surplus soul power, but it seemed a little insufficient to move the skill star core. He could only wait until after leveling up to come again. There were still 7 skill star cores left in the skill space, and it was estimated that after leveling up 2 levels, at most 3 levels, he could empty it. Now he was level 86, and if he was lucky, he could empty the skill space at level 88. If he was unlucky, then it would be level 89. Of course, it was best to empty the skill space at level 88, and the rest would be used to toss about the talent world. The talent world was the most difficult, and Lin Mo didn't even have a clue how to get the 3 talents out. Lin Mo wasn't in a hurry, he had a goal in doing things, but he couldn't be impatient. The skill star core entered the soul world under the envelopment of soul power and began to transform towards a spell. There were no accidents, and there would be no accidents. With Antares, this accomplice, Lin Mo died as he deserved. Antares looked at the small black dot, and Lin Mo looked at the star. This new spell star became a member of the soul world, and then rushed towards its own kind without hesitation. Chapter 767, I can only say you're an idiot. The 6 spell stars were connected to each other, attracting and entwining each other. Each of them ran and drew a very mysterious picture. In their center, a gray air mass was being generated. Like the 4-star spell system of the skeleton type, after the multi-star spell system reached 3 stars, it began to give birth to a gray air mass containing the aura of laws. The gray air mass was the manifestation of laws, and if you looked closely at the trajectory of the spell stars, it was actually running along the gray air mass. Antares murmured, 6-star spell. There was obvious shock in his tone, but he immediately changed his words, it's okay, 6-star spells are relatively rare. But in the great world, there are many strong people, and there are not a few 6-star spells. Lin Mo waved his hand, don't worry, I won't be proud and complacent. If he still didn't understand Antares's intentions, then he really didn't need to hang around. The newly joined spell star formed a 6-star spell system, and after the running trajectory changed, it quickly became stable. Overall, the 6 stars were running around the gray air mass in the center. At the same time, they attracted each other and had their own running trajectory. It was precisely because of the existence of the gray air mass in the center that their running was in a balanced state without a trace of chaos. Summon Lich General Fusion Degree 100%. Summon the Lich General 093. Who usually hibernates in the star, connecting to the undead world, and can descend into the present world when needed. The Lich General has the ability to command and lead the undead legion, and can also participate in the battle himself. The number and combat power that the Lich General can command will depend on the level of the Master's soul. The Lich General had also undergone tremendous changes, becoming not only a commanding assistant, but also possessing combat power himself. As for the strength of the combat power, it needs to be tested before it is known. The soul world vibrated again, it was the 6 stars in the 6-star spell system that were vibrating. They spat out more undead aura, making the manifestation of the law more obvious. Antares' eyes became solemn at this moment. Lin Mo noticed something was wrong, is there any problem? Antares said in a deep voice, I feel like your soul world seems to be trying to connect to another world. And this connection channel is there, and there. Antares pointed to the summoning class 6-star spell system and the skeleton class 4-star spell system. Strictly speaking, it was pointing to their center, the air mass manifested by the law. Lin Mo could only feel the aura of the law from it, he couldn't see deeper things like Antares. However, the spell did state that the spell star was connected to the undead world. At that time, he had suspected whether the undead world was a real world. Antares continued, your profession is too special, I can't say whether this is good or bad. Lin Mo was very open-minded. If it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If it's a curse, you can't avoid it, let it be. Okay, now I've done everything I should do, you should tell me how to level up next. Antares said, level 86 can continue to kill monsters to obtain soul power to level up, but that is just the worst way to do it. You have read so much information, you should have learned that there are many human race professionals above level 86, who no longer enter dungeons, no longer kill monsters, but choose to retreat. Lin Mo nodded, that's right, but most professionals choose to retreat after level 88. Antares said, level 88 is a bit late, in fact, level 86 is the best. And what you have to do is different from them. They are just comprehending their own souls, optimizing their souls, comprehending the role of soul power, and preparing to become a god level. At the same time, they also have to sense the skill space, move the skill star core, and transform it into a spell. But you are not like this. Antares explained in detail to Lin Mo what he needed to do next. Others needed to transport skill star cores, but Lin Mo didn't need to at all, as his skill space was almost completely plundered. The path he was taking was completely different from others. Next, he needed to start comprehending laws. Others only began to comprehend laws after becoming gods, as their souls grew stronger. But Lin Mo was going to start comprehending laws at level 86. Whether it was the requirement for soul level or the requirement for his own level, Lin Mo was far too ahead of his time. Is it feasible? Law backlash, my soul level is only 94. Without level 96, one cannot withstand the backlash of laws. This was a very clear principle, a constant rule. Antares said, it is feasible, but the process will be a bit difficult. When I say difficult, I mean the laws are very difficult to comprehend. But your laws have been manifested, which is already 1,000 times easier than others. If you still can't comprehend them like this, you can only be called an idiot. In the process of comprehending laws, your soul will be combed and become stable. Because this is something you slowly comprehend from scratch, your soul will adapt to the laws. Although there will be some backlash, it won't be serious and is completely within an acceptable range. Unlike you directly driving laws that don't belong to you, the backlash you receive will naturally be much more severe. In the great world, there is a magical race that can wield laws before reaching level 70. By virtue of their ability to wield laws, they can possess combat power exceeding level 90 at level 70. Lin Mo could understand Antares' words. If he didn't have the Goulet outer tower, he wouldn't be able to drive the law of electric elements. In the end, he was still relying on external objects. If possible, it's best not to rely on external objects. Relying on oneself is the true path. Lin Mo deeply understood this principle. Antares continued, moreover, in the process of comprehending laws, your soul force can also increase. With the 9-colored dragon soul crystal, your soul force will be further refined. When you reach level 90, your soul force will be purer than any race of the same level, at least 10 times purer. Speaking of this, Antares couldn't help but clench his dragon claws. You should already feel that the 9-colored dragon soul crystal doesn't actually increase soul level very quickly. Because its most fundamental role is not to enhance soul level, but to refine the soul, making the soul force incredibly pure. What others can do with 10 points of soul force, you can do with 1 point. Lin Mo said, thank you, I understand. Antares waved his dragon claws, don't rush, I haven't finished yet. Lin Mo's mouth twitched, please continue. Antares said, aren't you going to bring out your talent? I can tell you that without extremely pure soul force, wanting to bring out your talent is absolutely a pipe dream. At that time, don't even mention failing to bring it out, you might even suffer severe damage to your soul. Of course, if you don't care, I can kill you a few times. But if you want to become the strongest, you must bring out your talent. Otherwise, when you reach level 90, the door to the talent world will gradually close, and it will be difficult for you to bring it out. Lin Mo suddenly spoke, I have a question that I've wanted to ask for a long time. Why does the door to the talent world gradually close after level 90, and the influence of talent become weaker and weaker? Antares snorted, it doesn't matter if I tell you, this is the deepest rule of the Great World, said to be determined by the Great World runes. The root cause is 2 words, balance. Balance. Lin Mo didn't understand the meaning of this sentence. What did this have to do with balance? Antares chuckled, it's normal if you don't understand. Imagine. Chapter 768. The balance of the Great World, stay steady and don't be reckless. Antares told a story. In the great world, there was a very powerful race whose strength lay in their talents. This race called themselves the Chosen. From birth, members of the chosen race could awaken a talent. By adulthood, they could awaken at least 5 talents, and the powerful ones could even awaken 7 or 8 talents. Powerful and numerous talents allowed them to easily challenge opponents beyond their level. Being invincible at the same level was as simple as eating and drinking for this race. If this continued, when everyone became super gods, true gods, or even stronger, the chosen race could still be invincible at the same level and even instantly kill enemies of the same level with their various talents. In this case, it would not be an exaggeration for them to become the strongest race in the great world. But this situation changed after level 90. Different races had different names for levels before Super God. Antares used words that Lin Moyu could understand to explain. After level 90, the effective talents began to weaken. As their strength grew stronger, the effective talents became weaker and weaker. Until the door to the talent world was completely closed, talents no longer had any impact on strength. Everyone returned to the same starting line. Among those of the same level, who was stronger or weaker depended on their individual understanding and control of power. This was the so-called balance. With Lin Moyu's intelligence, he immediately understood. In the great world, there seemed to be an invisible force that maintained the balance of the entire great world. No one could dominate, and there was no absolutely powerful race. Antares said, "Do you know who came up with the method to retain talents?" Lin Moyu said, "It was them, right?" Antares chuckled, "That's right. Unfortunately, blessings and misfortunes depend on each other, and the result was something no one could have imagined." Lin Moyu thought for a moment, "If I'm not mistaken, the chosen race is about to be exterminated, right?" "Smart." Antares couldn't help but praise, "How did you guess that?" Lin Moyu said, "The strong of various races in the great world shouldn't allow an absolutely powerful race to appear. You also said that there needs to be balance." Antares nodded, "That's true. The chosen race was almost exterminated, and the strongest ancestor of the race was also besieged and fell. In the end, the chosen race announced the method of retaining talents, which allowed them to survive." Lin Moyu pondered for a few seconds and slowly said, "It shouldn't be that simple. The strong of various races will definitely restrict the chosen race to some extent, in case an invincible strong person with amazing talent is born in their race again." Antares' eyes lit up, shining brightly, "You're really a freak, you even thought of that." "That's right, although the races have let the chosen race go on the surface, they are actually confining them in secret." Lin Moyu sighed softly. The great world was really as cruel as he had imagined. To be guilty of possessing a treasure, the tree that stands out from the forest will be destroyed by the wind. The chosen race might have been too high profile. If they could hide their strength and develop secretly, when a large number of invincible strong people appeared in their race, they might really be able to be above all races with their talents. Antares said so much to tell Lin Moyu 2 principles. The first was the word balance. Currently, the great world, whether its own will or various races, followed these 2 words. The chosen race was the best example. No matter how strong or good their talents were, they would eventually disappear. Although they solved this problem with special methods, it almost led to the danger of extermination. Blessings and misfortunes depend on each other, and fate is so wonderful. The second was to keep a low profile. Whether it was an individual or a race, before possessing absolute strength, don't be too public. Stay steady and don't be reckless, otherwise the waves of the great world will inevitably engulf it. Antares told Lin Moyu the method of retaining talents. "Alright, you can start comprehending laws now. The process of comprehending laws is the process of you washing your soul. Remember, the soul is the foundation of everything, for all races. I'll sleep for a while, call me if you need anything." After Antares gave a final warning, he slowly closed his eyes. Understanding the laws is not a matter of a day or 2, often taking years. In the soul world, the skeletal and summoning spells form 2 multi-star spell systems respectively. At their center, laws are also condensing. Lin Moyu began to observe and comprehend. The eye of soul opened, and soul power flowed out, slowly enveloping the laws. He sensed every bit of it. The benefits of law manifestation are obvious, and a large amount of profound knowledge about the laws follows. Lin Moyu's soul was immediately immersed in it. The wonderful feeling was completely different from when he felt the laws before. Every sense was countless times deeper. Time passed day by day, and Lin Mo Yu was unaware of the time. In the human world, the army gathered. This time, not only the army was dispatched, but also a large number of professionals. Those guilds, dungeon-crawling teams, folk organizations, etc. AAA0 seeking fresh flowers. AAAAA. Anyone who wants to go can go. This trip to the Dragon Clan is not about conquering territory, but a war of extermination. It is a great war between races. No prisoners are needed, and there is no sympathy. Kill on sight, it's either him or me who dies. Naturally, it is impossible for the Divine Summer Empire to bear this kind of thing alone. After all, it concerns the entire human race, so other countries also participated. As the only divine level array mage in the human race, and also a high-level divine level array mage, Meng Anwen arranged a large number of teleportation arrays. At this moment, the Divine Summer Empire truly demonstrated its power to the world. Meng Anwen, Bai Yiyuan, Ning Tyran, Mo Xinghai, Feng Tianzong, Yi Hao. One high-level divine level being after another appeared in the eyes of the world. They were surrounded by laws, high above, and were true gods in the human world. The strength of the Divine Summer Empire made all forces and countries shut their mouths obediently. When other countries were still counting how many divine level beings they had, high-level divine level beings of the Divine Summer Empire had already appeared in batches. One high-level divine level being was enough to suppress all other countries and forces, let alone more than one. The Divine Summer Empire has truly become the largest country in the human race, a true king. Meng Anwen stood in the air, the Divine Summer Tower slowly rotating above his head. On the earth, 12 giant cross-border teleportation arrays occupied a large area. These giant cross-border teleportation arrays were super huge, each occupying a radius of 1,000 meters. The 12 arrays circled around, emitting a faint light. Outside the teleportation array, countless people and horses gathered. It was a dark mass, and the end could not be seen at all. Closest to the teleportation array were the Divine Summer Empire's army, followed by professionals from various parties, and people and horses from various forces. Meng Anwen's eyes were like electricity. Teleportation, begin. Along with bursts of roaring sounds, the 12 teleportation arrays operated simultaneously. Huge pillars of light soared into the sky, illuminating the firmament. The 12 pillars of light shot out like sharp swords, landing on the Divine Summer Tower. The Divine Summer Tower gathered the energy of 12 giant teleportation arrays and suddenly became larger. A strong aura of laws was stimulated on it, and the laws of the array path manifested. The terrifying power swept out, and everyone within 1,000 miles felt difficulty breathing, as if a mountain was pressing on their heads. Meng Anwen struck out runes with his fingertips, and the runes also carried the aura of laws. Finally, the tip of the Divine Summer Tower shot out a seemingly inconspicuous light of law. A black hole appeared in the sky instantly, and the world of the Dragon Clan was revealed in the black hole. Advance. Chapter 769, The Last Garbage of This World. In the Dragon Clan's world, a large number of space-time channels appeared in various areas simultaneously. Immediately afterwards, groups of human professionals rushed out of the space-time channels. According to the space-time beacons, Meng Anwen could locate the Dragon Clan's world, but could not accurately locate which point. Meng Anwen is good at formations, but his strength is limited, unlike Antares who can penetrate the fragmented world. In fact, before Meng Anwen reached the high-level divine level, even if he was given the space-time beacon of the Dragon Clan's world, he would not be able to arrange such a large-scale teleportation array. The human race is the master of this world, with a total population of over 1 billion. Among them, the total number of combat-type professionals exceeds 200 million, far exceeding the Dragon Clan in number. Among the 200 million combat-type professionals, except for some who stayed behind in the human world, at least half entered the Dragon Clan's world. They formed teams and, like Lin Mo Yu, regarded the Dragon Clan's world as a dungeon. They regarded the Dragon Clan as monsters. Since they were going to carry out the act of exterminating the race, a race war, naturally they would not let go of the ancient battlefield area. 000. A large number of human professionals also poured into here, and they searched for the whereabouts of the Dragon Clan in a mighty manner, and would never let them go once they were discovered. In a race war, there is no competition, only life and death. Meng Anwen looked at the human teams rushing into the Dragon Clan's world like wolves and tigers, his eyes flickering. Not only him, Feng Tianzong, Mo Xinghe, Bai Yiyuan and other high-level divine beings were watching. This group of people represents the highest power in the human race, and their word is law. However, they didn't take action this time. Not only them, but none of the divine-level powerhouses in the human race took action. Feng Tianzong asked, "Old Meng, why don't you let us take action?" Meng Anwen said, "Little Yu has killed all the dragon kings in the dragon clan, the dragon emperor has also been forced away, and even most of the level 88 and 89 dragon clan generals have died." Feng Tianzong understood. "You mean, use the remaining dragon clan to train our human race as soldiers?" Meng Anwen nodded. "This is also what Little Yu meant. Little Yu once said that the human race's sharpness cannot be lost. And not only this great war, but also the great war with the abyss demons next. We can't expect Little Yu to do everything, can we?" Feng Tianzong and the other few pondered Meng Anwen's words, feeling very reasonable. If Lin Mo Yu did everything, the human race might avoid a lot of casualties, but at the same time, it would also lose its vigor. Losing the state of being enterprising, the human race may never embark on the road of becoming stronger and stronger. Looking back now, this kind of sacrifice is also necessary. Counting the history of the human race, which period was not grown up in the baptism of blood? Every time the human race sacrifices and desperately fights, it will turn into a strong foundation. This time, as long as there are no Dragon King level enemies in the Dragon Clan, these people will not take action. This battle will last for a long time. Although it is only a fragmented world, it is at least tens of thousands of kilometers long. The Dragon Clan has scattered and hidden, and it is not easy to find them. In Meng Anwen's plan, it will take about half a year to plow the Dragon Clan's world back and forth like plowing the ground. Completely erase the Dragon Clan. The news that the human race entered the Dragon Clan's world quickly spread into the abyss. No matter which demon it was hard to imagine that the once invincible Dragon Clan would end up in such a situation. In the final analysis, Lin Mo Yu is just too strong. Perhaps in the near future, he will attack the abyss. For a time, the demons began to panic, and a strange atmosphere permeated the abyss. In the Demon Emperor's palace, the Demon Emperor Lilian was still as plain as ever, lazily lying on the Demon Emperor's throne, tasting the Dragon King's blood wine. The Dragon King trapped below the Demon Emperor's palace is now the only remaining Dragon King among the dragons. The Succubus Queen sat below, her face still showing disbelief. Not long ago, she had just received news that the human army had invaded the Dragon Clan, carrying out an extermination. The Dragon Kings were slaughtered, the Dragon Emperor disappeared, and all of this was done by Lin Mo Yu alone. The Succubus Queen murmured, "How could he be so strong?" Lilian said with a chuckle, "After all, this is the world of humans." The Succubus Queen was stunned, not quite understanding. Lilian said softly, "Favored by the will of the world, there are always some characters that are difficult to explain with common sense. It's normal if you don't understand now. When you reach a certain level, you will naturally understand." The Succubus Queen didn't dare to ask any more questions. After receiving the news, Lilian's mood became complicated. For her, it was naturally better for Lin Mo Yu to be stronger, but it was best not to be too strong. She was afraid that if Lin Mo Yu turned against her, she might not even have the power to resist. "It seems that my backup plan must also be prepared," Lilian thought to herself, a trace of bright red dripping from the corner of her mouth. In a certain magical space, a cold voice sounded, "After 1,000 years, I finally sense the aura of the chess piece. Issue the order, it's time to act." Along with this voice, an unusual aura spread rapidly. The ancient battlefield, in the deep space, a place like a graveyard. Here, thousands of coffins were placed, filled with a cold aura of death. The coffins, which had been silent for thousands of years, suddenly trembled collectively, the frequency of the tremors increasing until they broke through the limit, and the coffin lids exploded open. One by one, slender figures, looking like humanoid creatures, stood up straight from the coffins. They had cold expressions, blue faces and fangs, and especially a pair of thin wings on their backs. They looked 5 or 6 parts similar to the human race, but they were not the cold race. They looked at each other, their eyes filled with bloodthirsty light, and they even let out cold laughter. "The Master's order has been transmitted, we can begin. We've slept for 1,000 years, waited for 1,000 years, and finally there's movement. Hee, the chess piece from 1,000 years ago is only being used now, I wonder how many blood servants we've bred." I can sense it, a lot. That's great, let's turn this world into our world. As they spoke, they revealed their sharp teeth, reflecting a cold light in the dim light. The fangs were very sharp, and like their claws and wings, they were incredibly sharp. I've slept for 1,000 years, I'm hungry, let's go find something to eat. Okay, let's fill our stomachs first, and by the way, announce our arrival to the deep space. Our blood clan has awakened, and this world will eventually be included in our territory. Thousands of blood clan members simultaneously spread their wings and rushed into the sky. The speed was so fast, like a meteor. Antares, who was sleeping, suddenly twitched his nose, opened his eyes a crack, and looked somewhere. He murmured in a dreamlike voice, "These guys are finally going to make a move. Silent for 1,000 years, this chess piece is finally going to move. Well, the last of the garbage in this world should also be cleaned up. This time's butcher knife." Antares 5.6 glanced at Lin Mo Yu, who was still comprehending the laws. "I wonder if this brat can still lift the butcher knife this time." Different things are happening in different regions. No matter how the wind and rain outside blow, it won't affect Lin Mo Yu. Lin Mo Yu is now immersed in the world of laws. Laws are mysterious, but also incredibly attractive. When Lin Mo Yu comprehends the laws, not only does he not feel bored, but he is very happy. The manifestation of the laws makes his comprehension process much simpler, and he gains something almost every day. As Lin Mo Yu's understanding of the laws gradually deepens, the soul body also continuously releases soul power. The soul body seems to be doing some adaptive evolution to adapt to the laws. This evolution is an instinct. Soul power is also gradually strengthened as a result. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal absorbs the soul power, and then regurgitates it back to Lin Mo Yu, always keeping the soul power pure. Chapter 770. Magical Laws, Life in Death and Death in Life. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal can enhance the soul level, but this is only one of its functions, and not even the main one. The greatest function of the 9-colored dragon soul crystal is to refine soul power, making it incredibly pure. Under the same level, one point of soul power can exert several times the effect of others. For those gifted geniuses, this function is more useful than improving the soul level. While comprehending the laws, Lin Mo Yu's soul body is also changing to adapt to the laws. This change is magical, the soul power is increasing, like the soul power gained from leveling up and fighting monsters. Lin Mo Yu's level is also gradually rising. Although it can't compare to sweeping the dragon clan, it's not bad, it's stable. As long as Lin Mo Yu's comprehension doesn't stop, the increase in soul power won't stop. In the blink of an eye, a month has passed. In this month, Lin Mo Yu's heart has completely calmed down. His whole body's aura has become incredibly calm. The continuous slaughter in the previous period, although Lin Mo Yu has tried his best to remain calm. The generated killing intent was also absorbed by the domain god stone, but it still caused some impact more or less. These impacts caused ripples in his mood, and he could not completely calm down. Killing intent entered the soul, and even the domain god stone could not absorb it. It also made him feel tired, even the power of divinity could not erase it. Lin Mo Yu knew his situation. After ending the slaughter, he went to the White God courtyard. He rested well in the peaceful White God courtyard for a day, temporarily detached from the slaughter. However, only one night's rest could not completely smooth out the side effects of the slaughter. Until now, the last trace of killing intent flew out from the depths of the soul, and was then taken away by the domain god stone. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal absorbed Lin Mo Yu's soul power, and then regurgitated the purified soul power back. With the combined effect of the domain god stone and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal, working together from the inside and outside, his mood and soul finally completely calmed down. Antares sensed the change in Lin Mo Yu's aura, and woke up from a shallow sleep. Not bad, he calmed down so quickly. I wonder how the law comprehension is going, let's go take a look. Antares cautiously entered Lin Mo Yu's soul world. It saw Lin Mo Yu's soul body, sitting upright in the center of the soul world, like a god. In the center of the bone and summoning multi-star spell systems, where the laws are manifested, there are 2 clones. These 2 clones were split from the soul body, carrying Lin Mo Yu's will. They are observing the manifested laws, comprehending their mysteries. You brat, you're actually multitasking, using the soul-splitting technique to comprehend at the same time. Antares was both amused and exasperated, not knowing whether to praise Lin Moyu for being smart or scold him for being reckless. Others comprehend laws with full concentration, but Lin Moyu was using the soul-splitting technique to comprehend two at once. This would not only fail to improve efficiency but might also reduce it, or even result in comprehending nothing at all. The soul world suddenly hummed softly and trembled slightly. Lin Moyu's soul body opened its eyes and looked at Antares. "You're awake?" Antares said unhappily. "Yes, you brat, how did you come up with using the soul-splitting technique to comprehend laws two at once?" Lin Moyu asked strangely, "Is that not allowed?" Antares snorted, "It's inefficient. It's been a month, so tell me, have you comprehended anything?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "I can't explain it." Antares was slightly stunned. Indeed, the comprehension of laws cannot be expressed in words. If it could be expressed in words and written into books, then future generations would simply copy the works of their predecessors. The comprehension of laws is personal and cannot be told to outsiders. Antares thought for a moment, then have you gained anything? Lin Moyu pondered for a moment. I've gained something, but it's not yet at the point where I can use it. Then tell me, how did you think of multitasking? Lin Moyu said, at first, I wasn't multitasking. I first tried to comprehend the summoning laws, but I gained nothing. Then I turned to the bone-related laws, but I also gained nothing. No matter which one I comprehended, I felt like something was missing. Antares was slightly taken aback. Something missing. It thought of its own experience of comprehending the undead laws, where it gained nothing. Now that it thought about it, something was indeed missing. Lin Moyu continued, moreover, the two types of laws seem similar, but they feel different to me. So I tried multitasking and comprehending them together, and the effect was surprisingly good. Antares stared, looking at the law manifestations in the multi-star spell, and murmured, impossible, these two laws look exactly the same. In its perception, these two laws were no different, they were the same. From the beginning, Lin Moyu had named them the undead laws, meaning the laws belonging to the undead world. Lin Moyu said, they look the same, but they are different inside. Both are undead laws. The bone-related undead laws contain more death energy, although there is also a trace of life, but not much. The summoning-related undead laws contain more life energy, but also a trace of death energy. As he spoke, the soul body raised its finger and drew a pattern, a yin-yang bagua. Antares said, this is the yin-yang bagua, a pattern of your human race. Lin Moyu said, the undead laws feel like this to me, one death and one life representing yin and yang. Then life contains death, and death contains life, like the two dots in the yin-yang bagua. The two intertwine and are distinct, both interdependent and indispensable, yet independent of each other. The more Antares listened, the more surprised it became. It didn't expect this law to be so magical. A law with two completely different sides is indeed unique. Let me try. As Antares spoke, it also multitasked, dividing its soul body into two. For it, splitting into several soul clones was as simple as drinking water. When it focused the will of the two soul clones on two different manifested laws, it suddenly let out a strange cry. The two laws actually mutated at the same time and attacked Antares' soul clones. Antares' soul clones were not strong, only insignificant traces, and were directly annihilated under the laws. The annihilation of the soul clones was only a small matter for Antares, at most a slight pain, but what surprised Antares was that these two laws would attack it at the same time. It didn't believe it and tried several more times. It finally discovered that the laws had already been imprinted with Lin Moyu's mark. These two groups of manifested laws had become Lin Moyu's private property, and no one else could touch them. They were marked so quickly. That's impossible, the brat clearly hasn't mastered the laws yet. It felt very strange. All kinds of things beyond common sense happened frequently to Lin Moyu, and it couldn't figure out why. Lin Moyu asked, are you okay? Antares shook its big head. I'm fine, I'm fine. What did you comprehend? Lin Moyu asked. Antares was a dragon that cared about its face. How could it admit that it didn't comprehend anything and was instead attacked? This law is useless to me, but it should be very useful to you. Comprehend it well and don't give up. Also, let me tell you, your human race organized a large army to attack the dragon race world a few days ago. And this time, no god-level experts took action. This was the effect Lin Moyu wanted. Let them sharpen their blades well. The next battle will be the real war. I hope this blade can become sharper and sharper, not break. Chapter 771, Blame the Last Era for Being Too Careless. After Antares left, Lin Moyu once again immersed himself in the comprehension of laws. The undead laws were very magical. In the bone-related multi-star spell system, the manifested laws were full of death energy, but contained a trace of weak life within the death energy. In the summoning-related multi-star spell system, the manifested laws were full of life energy, and also contained death within the life energy. The two laws looked the same on the outside, but were different on the inside. Moreover, both laws were missing something, one representing death and the other representing life. Only when they were combined together could they form the complete undead laws. Control life and death, achieve immortality. The process of comprehending laws was very wonderful. Lin Moyu liked this feeling very much and didn't find it boring at all. Antares looked at the calm Lin Moyu and murmured, "What is the origin of this brat? Why does he have this kind of law? It's unheard of. Is the great world rune afraid of him, so it wants to curse him? But even if he can't let the spells carry the laws, as long as the brat can comprehend the undead laws, he can still greatly increase the power of the spells, which is not much different from carrying the laws. In that case, the great world rune seems to be at a disadvantage again. It wanted to suppress him but failed. It's really fun." Guessing that the great world rune had failed again, Antares seemed very happy. This thing was indeed the pursuit of many people, and Antares also wanted to pursue it. But if one day, it could step the great world rune under its feet, that would be the most exciting thing. Antares looked at the dragon race's world with a trace of excitement after delusion. The human race's professional teams were already engaged in a bloody battle with the dragon race's professionals. The dragon race's professionals could not sit still and wait for death. Even without the dragon emperor and having lost the dragon kings, they would still resist. Moreover, the dragon race had quickly organized and formed a resistance force of a certain scale. The human race also did not send out god-level experts, so the two sides engaged in a protracted war. The human race also suffered continuous losses, so the human race began to establish strongholds, gradually eroding and eliminating the dragon race. Meng Anwen and other high-level gods hid themselves and did not take action. For many human race professionals, this was a cruel training. Failure in training meant death. Success meant becoming a warrior, and they would become the edge of the human race's blade. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed since the human race attacked the dragon race's world. Many outstanding figures had emerged in the human race's teams. For example, the famous Goddess Squad, the Earth Squad, and the teams from the Garan Guild. The Goddess Squad was composed of Shu Han, Mo Yun, Mu Qianchen, and Ning Yi. Shu Han could both kill enemies and make medicine. Mo Yun was a summoner, responsible for the main attack. Mu Qianchen was used to attract enemies, and could also control enemies. Ning Yi specialized in intelligence gathering and assassination. The four of them coordinated quite well and quickly made a name for themselves. The Great Earth Squad was a team led by Shi Xing'an. The core members of the team were him and Liang Yu. The power of the Great Earth Knight was quickly demonstrated in this large-scale battle, and more people gathered around him. The Great Earth Knight lived up to its reputation and was indeed the ceiling of the knight profession. With him around, the team's combat power could be increased several times over. They could often complete battles of taking on the many with the few, and the strong with the weak. Antares watched the battles like he was watching a movie. 3 months later, Meng Anwen activated the teleportation array again. This time, people were being rotated. Most of the people fighting on the Dragon Clan front returned to the human clan world to rest. And the professionals in the human clan world who had not been on the battlefield would now land in the Dragon Clan world to face bloody warfare. The 12 teleportation arrays started operating, and pillars of light connected heaven and earth. At this moment, several insignificant fine cracks appeared in the sky. The cracks only appeared for a moment before disappearing. A few thread-like things passed through the cracks, drilled in, and landed on some people. These people were all members of forces outside the Divine Summer Empire. As long as they were members of the Divine Summer Empire, they were not touched by the fine threads. No one in the human clan noticed this, not even Meng Anwen, who controlled the formation. Only Antares saw it, with a strange smile in his eyes. The timing is well chosen, 1/2 I 1/4. But these little tricks are useless. But then again, this era is indeed very tragic. Blame it on the fact that the bunch from the last era were too careless. Antares said nothing, nor did he tell Lin Moyu. although he and Lin Moyu were friends in life and death and could be completely trusted. But there were some things that he also had his own principles about. What should not be said, he would not say, nor could he say. His gaze turned to the deep space again. In the deep space, 1,000 Blood Clan members had just divided up a huge alien beast. They ate raw flesh, their hands and faces covered in blood, and the smell of blood permeated the air. At the same time, beside them, an array was operating. 2 Blood Clan members grinned sinisterly, having just finished controlling the array. The seeds of chaos have been sown, just wait for them to sprout. The native creatures of this world are the human clan, but unfortunately, they were born at the wrong time. They will fall into despair and commit suicide and fratricide. Once our Blood Clan's bloodline awakens, we will obtain enormous power from the Blood Ancestor, which these natives cannot resist at all. Fortunately, they attacked the fragment world this time, otherwise, I don't know how much longer we would have to wait. The Blood Clan members were completely unaware that their actions were being watched by Antares. Antares was very disdainful of this kind of sneaky behavior. If you have the ability, come out in the open. Compared to the Blood Clan's behavior, Antares felt that the mixed blood dragons in his clan were more above board. The conquest of the Dragon Clan world continued, and in the blink of an eye, another 3 months passed. Meng Anwen once again activated the interworld teleportation array to rotate the teams. The human clan's team had completely shown its sharpness. Whether it was the army or civilian organizations, they had sharpened their knives very sharply. Everyone's face was filled with fighting spirit, and their spirit and energy had become very different. The professionals who had been on the battlefield and those who had not been on the battlefield were completely different. Meng Anwen was very pleased with the success of the human clan. Lin Moyu's plan was successful, very successful. Time passed day by day. From the initial entry into the Dragon Clan world, a year had passed in the blink of an eye. The rotation every 3 months had also been carried out 4 times. The initial plan was 6 months to a year. But the Dragon Clan's resistance exceeded his expectations, and the time had to be extended a little. But if it continued like this, it would be almost over in at most another year. The Dragon Clan's resistance began to gradually weaken, and the human clan had completely established its victory. I 1/2-old Meng, don't you think something's been wrong lately? Feng Tianzong came to Meng Anwen's side and said in a low voice. Meng Anwen's eyes narrowed slightly. Nuo Jiao Jiao, are you referring to the group from the Eagle Country? That's right. Meng Anwen looked at Bai Yiyuan not far away. Old Bai, what do you say? Bai Yiyuan had an intelligence team under his command, which controlled all aspects of intelligence on the battlefield. Bai Yiyuan said, some professionals from the Eagle Country, about half a year ago, their strength began to grow rapidly. Initially, the increase was only a few people, no more than 10. At first, we thought they had obtained some opportunity, so we didn't pay too much attention. In the last 3 months, the number of people with strange increases in strength has begun to increase, and the rate of increase is very fast. It's not just those people from the Eagle Country, but also some similar situations have appeared in organizations such as the Holy Supervision Church and the Western European Squad. Feng Tianzong said in a deep voice, are they all foreigners? Have you found the reason? Bai Yiyuan shook his head, I haven't found it, but we are already paying attention. Feng Tianzong said in a deep voice, although they are also human clan, those who are not of our race must have different hearts, you must be careful. Bai Yiyuan nodded, don't worry, they can't make any waves. Chapter 772, Mutation, the whole world is besieging Divine Summer. Everyone knows the strength of the Divine Summer Empire. No matter how other forces toss about or how much their strength increases. Just one of Bai Yiyuan and others is enough to suppress them from moving. However, Bai Yiyuan did not relax because of this. He has been investigating this matter, but there has been no result. Another 5 months passed, and the next rotation was coming soon. At this time, the battle in the Dragon Clan world was coming to an end, and the remnants of the Dragon Clan were making their last stand. Their territory had shrunk very small and had been forced into a corner. The human clan had plowed the Dragon Clan world over and over again, and even the deepest hidden places could be found. In the ice and snow, surrounded by 3 icebergs, there was a simple hut. There was heat rising in the house, and Meng Anwen and others were drinking tea and chatting. A group of old people were talking about the bits and pieces that happened when they were young, with endless things to say. Meng Anwen said softly, it's finally coming to an end. In front of Ning Tai, a teacup was floating, and the water line automatically entered his mouth. The millennium struggle is finally coming to an end. Feng Tianzong clenched his fist. After the dragon clan comes the abyss, and it's time for us to take action. Meng Anwen said, the human clan's knife has been sharpened very sharply. Let's strike while the iron is hot, take down the abyss, and solve the worries in our hearts. Mo Xinghai showed some worry. What about the Demon Empress? There is currently no half-step transcendent in the human clan, and the Demon Empress cannot be regarded as an ordinary half-step transcendent. 017. This group of people tied together would not be her opponent. Meng Anwen said, let's leave the Demon Empress to Xiao Yu. He did not reveal the cooperation between Lin Moyu and Lilian. Some things do not need to be said. Meng Anwen knew that no matter if Lin Mo would take action or not, the Demon Emperor would not stop them. However, the Demon Emperor would also not attack the Abyss Demons. Dealing with the Abyss Demons was much more difficult than dealing with the Dragon race. Among the demons were a large number of Demon Kings, and 4 high-level Demon Kings. It was already foreseeable that the human race would inevitably pay a bloody price. But if successful, it would be worth it. The door of the cabin was slammed open, and Bai Yiyuan walked in with wind and snow. Something happened, Bai Yiyuan said with a grave face, the 3 words causing everyone present to feel a thump in their hearts. Bai Yiyuan's expression was not good, indicating that the problem was somewhat serious. Feng Tianzong, with his impatient nature, immediately asked, has something happened to our people? Bai Yiyuan nodded. Recently, our casualties have been quite large. At first, we thought it was the dragon race's last-ditch counterattack, but the casualty rate of those guys is very small. I had people investigate, and it took half a month to get the results. Our people were actually not killed by the dragon race. In the dragon race world, there were only the dragon race and the human race. Among the human race, there were either divine Sha people or other forces. Since they were not killed by the dragon race, who else could have killed them? For a time, killing intent rose in the room, and the simple cabin shattered into pieces. A cold light flashed, and a long sword was unsheathed. Feng Tianzong held the sharp sword. They dare to attack our people. Where are they? I will go and destroy them. Bai Yiyuan shook his head. Not just one, it's all of them. Huh, all of them? Ning Tian asked, are you saying that all of them attacked our people? Bai Yiyuan nodded, yes, and the attacks were very sudden. Meng Anwen asked in a deep voice, what are the casualties? The casualties are not small, and according to the recent investigation results, this kind of attack is not the first time. They have been secretly attacking for a month, and this time it is a full-scale outbreak. They had been secretly attacking for a month. Feng Tianzong said, no wonder, our casualty rate began to increase significantly half a month ago. It turns out it was these beasts. It is true that those who are not of our race must have different hearts. These people are a scourge. Mo Xinghai was calmer than Feng Tianzong. What is the situation now? It has stabilized. We reacted quickly and blocked it in time after suffering an attack. But those guys don't know why. Their strength has greatly increased, and many top-notch professionals have appeared. We are a bit struggling here. Feng Tianzong gritted his teeth. The dragon race has not been completely wiped out, and the abyss demons have not even moved. To have infighting like this is too hasty. Meng Dingwen shook his head. It shouldn't be like this. Something we don't know about must have happened. Feng Tianzong said in a deep voice, no matter what, just destroy them. I had no reason before, but now I do. Feng Tianzong's killing intent rose, stirring up a sky full of wind and snow. Meng Anwen said, I suspect that problems have occurred not only in the dragon race world but also in the human world. I'll leave this to you. Old Ning, Old Yi, come back to the human world with me. Okay, Ning Tian and Yi Hao responded at the same time. Saying that, Meng Anwen summoned the Divine Sha Tower, and countless runes flew into the Divine Sha Tower. The Divine Sha Tower spun around, and a teleportation array quickly formed. Meng Anwen took Ning Tian and Yi Hao into the array and returned to the human world. Bai Yiyuan, Feng Tianzong, and Mo Xinghai stayed in the dragon race world. Feng Tianzong said, where are they? Old Bai, lead the way. Go. Bai Yiyuan was also full of killing intent at this time, and the 3 turned into streamers and flew towards the distance. Back in the human world, Meng Anwen immediately communicated with the array in the meta battlefield. Through the array, Meng Anwen saw what was happening in several fortresses in the meta battlefield. His face changed slightly. Those guys are attacking our fortresses. Then he continued to sense the array in the Divine Sha Empire. The defensive array of the Divine Sha Empire had been activated, and people were attacking in various cities. The battlefield spanned the entire border of the Divine Sha Empire. There were many people besieging the Divine Sha Empire, too many to count. Without exception, they were all non-Divine Sha people. It seems that the battle has not started for long. Old Yi, please go to the meta battlefield. I'll leave it to you. Yi Hao agreed without hesitation. Okay. Meng Anwen opened the teleportation array and sent Yi Hao into the meta battlefield. The next moment, Meng Anwen decisively activated the Eternal Great Wall. In the meta battlefield, the 9 fortresses of the Divine Sha Empire were connected together, turning into an impregnable wall. Once the Eternal Great Wall was opened, the situation immediately stabilized. The Eternal Great Wall not only protected the fortresses in the meta battlefield but also protected the borders of the Divine Sha Empire. The Divine Sha Empire immediately stabilized. Let's go. Meng Anwen took Ning Tian and teleported to a border city. At this time, an array shield was propped up outside the city, blocking the enemy's attack. Looking around, there were countless enemies outside the array. Not only here, but the same was true across the country. At this moment, it was as if the whole world was attacking the Divine Sha Empire. It should be said that all non-Divine Sha people in the world were attacking the Divine Sha Empire. Ning Tian's face became very ugly. What on earth happened? Why is it like this? The situation in front of him was really abnormal. If it was only a part, that would be fine, but if the whole world was like this, then it was wrong. Moreover, those forces did not know the strength of the Divine Sha Empire. No matter how many people they had, it was useless. They could not defeat the Divine Sha Empire at all. Meng Anwen looked at the crazy crowd. These people are not right. Mouth. Ning Tian looked carefully, but he couldn't see the problem for a while. At this time, Meng Anwen took action. He reached out and grabbed one of them with a giant hand. Look, Meng Anwen controlled him and used his strength to open his mouth. There was a pair of fangs in his mouth. Although they were small, they were very sharp. Humans should not have such sharp teeth. Ning Tian said, these are not human teeth, they look a bit like beasts. Meng Anwen nodded, and their eyes are full of madness, and they are already different from the human race. At this time, his eyes narrowed slightly. A professional attacking the array was wearing a Divine Sha military uniform. Chapter 773 The Blood Race will eventually become the master of the world. Meng Anwen reached out and grabbed the person wearing the Divine Sha military uniform. He was a Divine Sha soldier, or rather, he used to be a Divine Sha soldier. Now, for some reason, he had lost his mind, his eyes were full of madness, and he was attacking his own country. A pair of fangs also grew in his mouth. Although Meng Anwen controlled him, the ferocity in his eyes never changed. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to bite Meng Anwen. Ning Tian's face became extremely ugly. What's wrong with him? Meng Anwen carefully checked and finally found a pair of wounds on his neck. The wounds were not large, but very strange. Judging from the size and distance, they matched the fangs in his mouth perfectly. This wound should be from a bite. He must have turned into this after being bitten. When Ning Tian heard Meng Anwen's words, he scanned around and saw several people wearing the attire of the Divine Sha. He grabbed those people and found similar wounds on each of them. Then Meng Anwen grabbed a few people from other forces and found no corresponding wounds on them. After some judgment, Meng Anwen was almost certain that the reason why the Divine Sha people had become so crazy, like wild beasts without reason, was because they had been bitten. The reason why people from other forces had become like this was still unknown. As long as the Divine Sha people were not bitten, they would not become this crazy. Meng Anwen immediately issued an order that no one should leave the formation or attack. In the absence of a clear reason, the first thing to do was to reduce casualties. With the Eternal Great Wall present, there would be no problem in the short term. Meng Anwen said, Old Ning, take these people to find Elder Yao and see if Elder Yao can find the reason and restore them. As he spoke, Meng Anwen opened a teleportation array for Ning Tian and sent them away. Meng Anwen quickly teleported between several cities, observing the general situation. The situation in each city was similar, with those foreign forces already gone mad. Among them were several small countries. Even though they did not have any powerful professionals, they had now joined the ranks of attacking the Divine Sha Empire. Although these people were crazy and seemed to have no reason, their purpose seemed very clear, which was to attack Divine Sha. Or rather, they regarded themselves as the same kind, and the Divine Sha people were seen as aliens in their eyes. Meng Anwen's face was gloomy, and the Divine Sha Tower intertwined to form a huge formation, opening a passage to the Dragon Clan. Meng Anwen returned to the Dragon Clan world, quickly located by Yi Yuan's location, and teleported over. With the Divine Sha Tower, Meng Anwen could travel very quickly. As long as he could locate it, he could arrive in an instant. Without the Eternal Great Wall, the situation in the Dragon Clan world was relatively worse. Enemies came from all directions, and those guys from various forces had now become crazy, frantically besieging the Divine Sha people. The Divine Sha people gathered together, forming legions to defend. In the Dragon Clan world, there were many battlefields. The Divine Sha people were being besieged and harmed. Bai Yiyuan, Feng Tianzong, Mo Xinghai, and several other divine-level powerhouses had dispersed and were constantly running back and forth. Bai Yiyuan punched out, the laws roared, and a phantom giant fist fell from the sky, smashing into the earth like a meteor. The surrounding 100 meters were razed to the ground, and this punch killed hundreds of people. Bai Yiyuan's killing intent was boiling. Just now, in a short exchange of fists, thousands of people had died in his hands. Behind him was a Divine Sha team of 1,000 people. The team seemed to have suffered considerable casualties. If Bai Yiyuan had not taken action, they would have been besieged to death. Old Bai, how is the situation? Meng Anwen asked urgently. Bai Yiyuan shook his head, not very good. Our teams are too scattered and are being besieged everywhere. As he spoke, thousands of rays of light shot out from the Divine Sha Tower, enveloping the 4 fields, and all the humans present were taken into the Divine Sha Tower. Although the Divine Sha Tower did not have as much space as the Trial Tower, it was still no problem to accommodate tens of thousands of people. Meng Anwen's eyes turned and he already had a countermeasure. In this way, we will find people separately. Tell me the location when you find someone. Okay, how is the Empire? Bai Yiyuan also asked urgently. The Eternal Great Wall is open, the Empire is fine for the time being, Meng Anwen quickly replied, his hands not stopping. The Divine Sha Tower intertwined to form a teleportation array, taking Meng Anwen away. Now it was a race against time. Before figuring out the situation, they had to save people first. For every moment they delayed, the casualties would increase. The two separated, Bai Yiyuan to find people. Meng Anwen took people and teleported outside the Imperial City of the Dragon Clan. The Imperial City of the Dragon Clan had now become ruins. 12 cross-border teleportation arrays were set up outside the city, just like the cross-border teleportation arrays in the human clan world. Every time there was a rotation, these teleportation arrays would be activated. Usually, the Divine Sha Empire sent troops to garrison here, guarding the teleportation arrays. At this time, this place had also become a battlefield. The earth was covered with corpses. Most of them were personnel from other forces, and there were not many Divine Sha soldiers. These corpses had basically had their heads cut off, their bodies separated from their heads. Meng Anwen knew at a glance that Feng Tianzong had done it. Feng Tianzong seemed impatient, but he was not a fool. He first came to the teleportation array and killed all the enemies attacking the teleportation array. First guard the teleportation array and leave a way out, that was right. Meng Anwen released the people he brought, then gave a few instructions, and left again. In the following time, Meng Anwen traveled to every corner of the Dragon Clan world at the fastest speed, bringing wave after wave of people back to the teleportation array area. Bai Yiyuan, Feng Tianzong, Mo Xinghai, and some divine-level powerhouses belonging to the Divine Sha Empire, fully cooperated with Meng Anwen. AAA0 ask for fresh flowers AAAAAAAA. 2 days later, almost 99% of the Divine Sha people in the Dragon Clan world had been found by them and brought back to the teleportation array area. As they returned, the center of the battlefield also shifted towards the teleportation array's location. These guys seemed to be able to smell the Divine Sha people's whereabouts and quickly track them down. But Feng Tianzong and others were guarding here, forming the most solid line of defense. Have the statistics come out yet? Bai Yiyuan asked loudly. He had just wiped out thousands of people and rushed back with killing intent. Meng Anwen was preparing to open the teleportation array and was also multitasking, counting the number of people. Last time for the rotation, our Divine Sha Empire entered 10 million people. This time, only 8 million people have returned. Bai Yiyuan clenched his fist. This time the loss is too great. What happened to those guys? They have all become like wild beasts. ... Meng Anwen shook his head slightly. He still hadn't fully figured out this problem. There was only a faint guess in his heart, not very sure. Bai Yiyuan said, I know you must have some ideas, tell me about them. Meng Anwen's hands didn't stop, he looked up at the sky. I suspect, it's related to the outside. Bai Yiyuan was slightly startled, are you sure? Almost, otherwise it wouldn't be so sudden. Bai Yiyuan couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart, but then it was anger. He clenched a pair of iron fists. No matter who it is, dare to have designs on our divine Sha, I will smash its head. ... Human clan world, the original capital of the Eagle country. A group of powerhouses gathered together, and a grand banquet was being held. They came from different forces, some from the Eagle country, some from the Holy Supervision Church, and some from Western Europe, etc. More than 20 divine-level powerhouses gathered together, their aura extremely powerful. Without exception, they all had a pair of fangs at the corners of their mouths, and their eyes carried a cold, bloodthirsty aura. However, none of them had lost their minds. Their attire was also extremely uniform, wearing black robes, with a black cloak behind them. Like an evil religion, they were frightening to behold. One of them, a level 94 god-rank powerhouse, became the leader of everyone. The Lord's command is that the second phase can be initiated. Everyone present was excited, really? Yes, initiate the second phase, initiate the Feast of Blood. Initiate the Feast of Blood. Let us revel, the Blood Clan will eventually become the masters of this world. Cheers to the Lord, cheers to the Lord. Everyone raised their glasses high, but the glasses were not filled with wine, but with blood, the blood of the divine summer people. Chapter 774, The Second Anomaly. The second phase is also known as the Feast of Blood. Invisible power of the law spread out from the human world, from this banquet. As if a switch had been flipped, anomalies occurred all over the world. In the deep space, 1,000 Blood Clan members activated a formation. This formation was like a pool of blood, exuding a crimson glow. The Feast of Blood began from here. Antares watched this scene unfold, showing no intention of taking action, not even notifying Lin Mo Yu. In its eyes, this was just a trivial matter. Even without Lin Mo Yu, Meng Anwen and the others would be able to handle it. As long as the bottom line was not crossed, Antares was too lazy to move. A tragic era, Antares muttered to itself, continuing to watch the show. In the Dragon Clan world, the teleportation array activated. 12 beams of light soared into the sky, connecting to the Divine Summer Tower, opening a passage back to the human race. Everyone, enter the teleportation array. Meng Anwen's voice boomed, reaching everyone's ears. However, what responded to him was a earth-shattering scream. This scream was like a switch, turning on a moment of madness. The scream was extremely piercing, not like a sound a human could make. After the first scream appeared, what followed was a continuous stream of screams, and cries of misery also rang out. What's going on? Everyone was shocked. Nearly 10 million people were gathered here, covering the mountains and plains, stretching as far as the eye could see. It was an unimaginably large team. At this moment, pillars of blood shot up into the sky from the team, and the stench of blood instantly permeated the air. The team became chaotic almost instantly. Meng Anwen saw that some people in the team had suddenly mutated. Their originally normal expressions suddenly became ferocious, and the rationality in their eyes disappeared in an instant, replaced by bloodthirsty madness. This appearance was exactly the same as that of people from other forces before. After these people mutated, they immediately began to attack the people around them, causing a large number of casualties in an instant. Something happened. How could something suddenly happen? Don't worry about so much, save people first. God-ranked powerhouses reacted extremely quickly, and some of the top professionals also reacted and took action one after another. The aura of those divine summer people who had mutated began to skyrocket, and their strength greatly increased. It was as if a strange force had entered their bodies, forcing their growth. Then their body shapes also changed, and wings actually grew out of their backs, completely breaking away from the category of humans. Their strength quickly reached level 80, enough to rival many top powerhouses. Meng Anwen's face was extremely ugly, and he gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "It really is the outsiders. At this time, he was already certain that it must be the outsiders who were playing tricks. The chaos broke out too suddenly, and even with the intervention of God-rank powerhouses, it was not completely stopped. For a time, casualties were heavy, and at least tens of thousands of professionals were injured. Fortunately, there were also a large number of healers among the professionals, who immediately began treatment. Finally, the situation was brought under control and slowly calmed down. But suddenly, screams rang out again. The mutation happened again. Meng Anwen's expression changed drastically. This time, the people who mutated were all those who had been injured just now. Meng Anwen instantly understood and shouted sharply, "No one who is injured is allowed to be treated. Everyone stay away from the injured. God-rank powerhouses, kill the mutants at the first moment." Meng Anwen pointed towards the Divine Summer Tower, and the Divine Summer Tower immediately shot out countless sharp lights, accurately killing the mutants. Because Meng Anwen discovered it in time, the second mutation did not cause too many casualties. In the two mutations, the original team of 8 million was reduced by hundreds of thousands again. In just half a day, hundreds of thousands of people died. Moreover, these people were all their own compatriots. Everyone's face was very ugly, and this feeling of fratricide was very bad. Meng Anwen's orders were issued one after another, and everyone checked themselves and those around them. They couldn't be injured, and once they were injured, they might mutate. Soon, all those who had been injured, no matter when they had been injured, were found and isolated separately. This was also something that couldn't be helped. If they mutated, it would be another disaster. This mutation was like a seed, and as long as there was a little carelessness, the seed could take root and sprout. The teleportation array had stopped just now. Without determining safety, these people could only stay in the Dragon Clan world for the time being. With the team staying here, Bai Yiyuan and the others couldn't move either. Until now, professionals from other forces were still rushing from all directions. Bai Yiyuan and the others would not allow these people to approach the team, and would kill them from afar. Feng Tianzong asked, "What do we do now?" Meng Anwen thought for a while, pile all the corpses together and burn them. All the injured people should be separated from the team, and they should keep a certain distance from each other, and use the army to guard them. I feel that this matter is not that simple. Feng Tianzong asked, "Then what about you?" Meng Anwen had already realized something at this time. "I want to return to the Empire, I hope nothing happens there." The Divine Summer Empire was fundamental, and it would be a big trouble if something happened there. Meng Anwen instructed the affairs here, and immediately activated the teleportation array, returning to the Empire alone. Just after coming out of the space-time tunnel, Meng Anwen's face changed drastically. The air was filled with the smell of blood. Looking down from a high position, a large number of corpses were lying in the city. Many professionals were cleaning up the corpses, as if they had just experienced a great battle. Fires were burning everywhere, and after the names of those corpses were recorded, they were thrown into the fire and burned to ashes. Meng Anwen changed several cities in a row, and the results were similar. Something really happened, and it was happening throughout the entire empire. "Ning Lao, where are you?" Meng Anwen contacted Ning Tairan. "The Imperial Palace." Ning Tairan quickly replied. In the Imperial Palace, a group of high-level officials from the Divine Sha Empire were gathered. Everyone looked solemn, and the atmosphere was incredibly oppressive. The huge pillars in the Imperial Palace occasionally creaked, as if they couldn't bear the pressure. Meng Anwen didn't waste any time after arriving and quickly exchanged the information he had. Based on the currently known information, a conclusion was reached. The source of this mutation was everyone except the Divine Sha people. Initially, the Divine Sha people were not affected. This included Divine Sha people living abroad, who were also unaffected. However, those mixed-race individuals with Divine Sha blood were affected and mutated in the first round. During that mutation, many Divine Sha people died, but even more were injured. Those injured Divine Sha people recovered after treatment. Most of them were combat-type professionals and were mainly on the front lines. Only a small number returned to their hometowns and scattered throughout the country. Then came the second round of mutations. At this time, the Divine Sha people were also affected and mutated. These mutants were people who had been injured by the first round of mutants. This also showed that the mutation was infectious. The Empire also took corresponding measures, similar to those Meng Anwen took in the Dragon World. Isolating the injured, burning the corpses, and preventing further accidents. Meng Anwen looked at Shu Yaoshan. Elder Yao, what do you think? Shu Yaoshan said in a low voice, I have studied it, but found nothing. The source of this mutation should be in those without divine Sha blood. Even Shu Yaoshan couldn't find the root cause, making the matter extremely difficult. Bloodline, Dongfang Li suddenly said, I seem to have seen some information. Dongfang Li was in charge of the Royal Secret Vault, and he had read all the records about ancient history in the Royal Secret Vault. Some of the lost information was still preserved in the royal family. Chapter 775. Once upon a time, there were only divine Sha people, were others mixed breeds. Dongfang Li quickly retrieved the information from the secret vault. This was a very, very ancient book, at least 1,000 years old. The ancient book had obviously been repaired, and now the pages were scattered and stored in a box. Meng Anwen knew at a glance that this ancient book was even older than the history of the Divine Sha Empire. The period before the Divine Sha Empire was missing some history. Only the royal family retained a small amount of information. Dongfang Li said, the writing on it is very old, but it is somewhat similar to the writing of our Divine Sha Empire. According to the records in the ancient book, we experienced an unprecedented war in ancient times. Therefore, the historical records have been interrupted. Everyone present had heard of the legends about that war. Some believed that the severance of transcendence and the fall of gods seemed to be related to that war. Others believed that the war was simply fictitious and never happened. Unexpectedly, the royal family actually had records about that war. Even a small piece of information could prove that the war existed. Dongfang Li said, according to the records, one side of that war was a coalition of our human race and gods. What? Everyone was shocked, looking at Dongfang Li in disbelief. Ning Tai Ran's mouth twitched a few times, then who was the other side? Was it the abyss demons or the dragons? Dongfang Li shook his head, I don't know, the ancient book was severely damaged, and this piece of information was lost. Ning Tai Ran sighed softly, which was also unavoidable, after all, it was too long ago. Meng Anwen had already guessed who the other side was, they were invaders from beyond the sky. Including this time, it was most likely the work of those guys from beyond the sky. Ning Tai Ran asked, what is the connection between the events of that time and what is happening to us now? Dongfang Li said, I used to be obsessed with the study of ancient history, and I have read countless books about ancient history. Combining this with my own judgment, I have come to a conclusion. At that time, the human race referred to us divine Sha people, and there were no blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. As soon as this was said, everyone was shocked again. Yi Hao said in a low voice, I have also heard similar words, and the saying, those who are not of our race must have different hearts has been passed down from our ancestors. There must be a deep meaning behind the words left by our ancestors. Ning Tai Ran said in a low voice, according to you, if there were only divine Sha people in the human race, where did those foreigners come from? Dongfang Li shook his head, indicating that he didn't know. He couldn't make an accurate judgment on this question. After thinking, Meng Anwen slowly said, these people should be from the deep space. You all should have been to the deep space. There are many monsters there that we have never seen before, completely different from the monsters in our world. There are also many humanoid monsters among them. Meng Anwen originally wanted to say directly that it might have been created by extraterrestrials. But after thinking about it, he changed it to deep space, which would be more acceptable. Ning Tai Ran's face became extremely complicated, are you saying, those guys are mixed breeds? Shu Yaoshan slapped his thigh, if that's the case, then it makes sense. Dongfang Li also nodded, this also explains why the ancient divine Sha city can only be entered by our ancestors. Whether it is people from other forces, or abyss demons, or dragons, they can't enter. Perhaps the ancient divine Sha city believes that we divine Sha people are the true orthodox human race, and the others are not human. Shu Yaoshan continued, I once compared the blood of our divine Sha people with the blood of people from other countries when I was doing drug experiments, and there is indeed a big difference between the two. Their blood contains some other elements and is very messy. Unlike the blood of our divine Sha people, which is pure and clean. The same skills, the effects that our divine Sha people can exert are also stronger than theirs. The same drugs also have a better therapeutic effect on us than on them. Everyone spoke one after another, and soon this matter was settled. Except for the divine Sha people, the people of other countries are not considered orthodox human race. Their bloodlines have been polluted and have impurities. They have become alien races. Antares let out a chuckle. Pretty smart, you figured it out so quickly. Figured out what? Lin Moyu's voice suddenly came in. Antares saw that Lin Moyu had already woken up. This time, comprehending the laws had taken more than a year. Lin Moyu was now surrounded by a faint aura of laws, and he had obviously gained a lot. Antares said, something happened in your clan. Lin Moyu raised his eyebrows slightly, what's the matter? Antares said, a race called the Blood Clan planted seeds in your human race more than 1,000 years ago, and now they are starting to move. Blood Clan, doesn't sound like anything good. More than 1,000 years ago. Was it when the war had just ended and the dragons and abyss demons came? Antares nodded, about the same, they actually came earlier than the dragons and the abyss, but they used different methods. Concerning the human race, Lin Moyu didn't have the leisure to ask word by word, directly opening his mouth, explain in detail. Under Lin Moyu's request, Antares recounted the entire matter. Only then did Lin Moyu realize that among the world's many countries and races, besides the Divine Sha people, all the rest were pawns laid out by the Blood Clan. The Blood Clan obtained the bloodline of the Divine Sha's strong individuals, combined it with other bloodlines, and used their unique methods to create new human races. In essence, they were similar to the dragon race's mixed blood dragons. These people reproduced and changed through generations, breeding all sorts of races. But no matter how they changed, they inherently possessed the Blood Clan's mark from their bloodline's origin, destined to be the Blood Clan's slaves and pawns. Originally, they were in the human world, while the Blood Clan was in the deep space. With the protection of the world's power, the Blood Clan couldn't control their pawns at all. But this time, the human race launched a large-scale attack on the dragon race's world, a fragmented world that was spatially closer to the deep space. The Blood Clan sensed their existence, and the pawns that had been stagnant for 1,000 years began to move. Lin Moyu said in a deep voice, in the end, the Blood Clan just wants to seize this world. Antares shook his head, that's right, the goal is the same as the Abyss and the dragon race. To seize the world, they had to destroy the world's will. The world's will was special, and the easiest way was to kill all the native creatures. The strongest among the native creatures was the human race. As long as they could destroy the human race, obtaining the world wouldn't be too difficult. The dragon race used a tough method, a frontal assault, and ultimately failed. The Blood Clan used an insidious method, disintegrating from within. Antares chuckled, are you planning to take action? Lin Moyu's strength had already surpassed all the strong individuals in the human race. Moreover, Lin Moyu had an undead army, and if he took action, he could quickly quell this matter. Lin Moyu thought for a while, I won't move, this matter is a blessing, not a curse, for the human race. Oh, Antares was somewhat surprised. Lin Moyu said, they're just pawns of the Blood Clan, I believe teacher can handle it well. There might be casualties, but I still mean what I said, the human race needs sharpness, needs sharpening. The sharpened blade isn't just for dealing with the dragon race and demons, but for dealing with all sorts of enemies. If one day we really go to the great world, the current training will become a life-saving charm in the future. Antares laughed. Lin Moyu had his own ideas, he valued the human race, but wouldn't be a nanny. To truly become strong, they ultimately had to rely on themselves. Since that's the case, let's watch the show. Lin Moyu said, okay, I'll go move some skills first. Chapter 776, Another Multi-Star Spell System, Are You Crazy? While comprehending the laws, Lin Moyu's soul force steadily increased. The essence of gaining experience was to enhance soul force. Because of the materialization of laws, Lin Moyu's difficulty in comprehending laws was greatly reduced, and his comprehension speed was much faster than others. In just a year and a half, Lin Moyu himself had risen from level 86 to level 87. Lin Moyu had already felt the benefits of this cultivation method. Compared to killing monsters, killing people to obtain soul force. The soul force obtained through this self-cultivation was more pure. In addition, with the tempering of the 9-colored dragon soul crystal, every bit of soul force was far superior to those of the same level. As the comprehension of laws gradually deepened, the soul also underwent subtle changes to adapt to the laws. At this time, the soul body already possessed a faint aura of laws. Although it wasn't yet at the point of being able to grasp the laws, Lin Moyu could feel that his control over spells was more comfortable. The laws contained in the spells seemed to be slightly driven. With the existence of the Great World Rune Curse, spells couldn't bear external laws, but they couldn't stop the laws of the spells themselves. Lin Moyu only needed to reach a certain level of understanding of the laws to be able to drive the laws carried by the spells themselves, thereby avoiding the curse of the Great World Rune. After more than a year, he entered the skill space again. Looking at the 7 remaining skill star cores in the skill, Lin Moyu said softly, "You are too lonely here." Speaking, his soul force turned into a giant hand, grabbing the nearest skill star core. Pulling the soul force outwards, the skill star core was pulled without any resistance. So easy, unexpectedly easy, there wasn't much resistance. Although he had leveled up and his soul force had greatly increased, it wasn't so easy. It was as if he had leveled up not just one level, but several levels. Lin Moyu knew that this was because the soul force had become pure, and one point of force exerted several times the effect it used to have. This self-cultivation method was indeed very good. Lin Moyu easily dragged the skill star core into the soul world without any difficulty. If it weren't for thinking that Antares would turn into a cross-eyed again, Lin Moyu really wanted to move 2 out at once. After more than a year, Antares became excited again. Slapping down with a palm, the power of a true god erupted, carrying soul tracking. The power of a true god was too strong, it wasn't something Lin Moyu could resist. The undead legion of the spell constellation collapsed, and it took 3 consecutive collapses to exhaust Antares' attack power. Antares blinked his big eyes. "You're hard again." Lin Moyu nodded. "It seems so." The last spell converted was Summon Lich General. Its appearance formed a 6-star spell system. Skeletons, Doom Knights, and Elemental Liches were all enhanced. This also led to a further increase in Lin Moyu's defense. Antares attacked again, with the same attack. Under soul tracking, the undead legion collapsed again, and after 2 consecutive collapses, it was finally Lin Moyu's turn. Accompanied by a strong purple light, Lin Moyu was reborn. Antares used the power of a true god tier 1, which meant that an ordinary true god tier 1 would need at least 2 attacks to kill Lin Moyu. As for transcendent god tier, I don't know how many times it would take, maybe they couldn't kill him. Soon, the skill star core was transformed into a spell constellation with the cooperation of the 2. "What spell do you hope for this time?" Antares asked. Lin Moyu looked indifferent. "It doesn't matter, I'm going to empty it anyway." The corners of Antares' mouth twitched. These words were killing people. If someone else said they were going to convert all their skills into spells, and still constellation-level spells like Lin Moyu, Antares would definitely scold this guy for being crazy. In the great world, there were people who converted all their skills into spells, but like Lin Moyu, almost all skills were converted into constellation-level spells, which was unique. The fireball exploded, like the explosion at the beginning of the world, and the small black spot appeared as expected. Antares was deeply involved in it, and Lin Moyu continued to remember the aura of the small black spot, while feeling the changes in his soul. In the process of comprehending the laws, the soul was always progressing. Not only was the soul force increasing, but the soul level was also gradually increasing. Although the soul had not yet reached the level of level 95, it had at least gone far on the road to level 94. The spell constellation fed back soul force, strengthening and stabilizing the soul world while slightly enhancing the soul level. Making the soul level closer and closer to level 95 DAAA. Soul Curse Fusion Degree 100% curses a specified target, comprehensively reducing all abilities of the target, and expanding all damage received by the target. The duration, effect, and range are determined by the soul level. The Aging Curse skill was transformed into a constellation-level spell, and a huge change occurred. Not only did the effect change, but even the name changed. Soul Curse. It sounds like a curse aimed at the soul. Reduces all of the target's abilities, amplifying all damage received. It's no longer just about slowing down and increasing damage. The target's attack power, defense, life force, and even soul force will be comprehensively reduced. Coupled with amplified damage, it's enough to lower the enemy's strength by several levels. The duration of the area effect is determined by the soul level. In fact, Lin Moyu had long discovered that the strength of spells is basically determined by the soul. The kind of soul determines the kind of effect that can be exerted. The level of the soul determines the power of the spell. That's why Antares repeatedly emphasized that the soul is the foundation of everything. Antares asked, "How is it?" "Let's try it." He cast Soul Curse towards Antares. Antares didn't feel anything, his soul only felt slightly heavy for a moment, but it instantly returned to normal. The difference in soul level between the two was too great to test anything. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry, he knew his spells wouldn't be too bad. At least so far, no spell has been bad. There was still plenty of soul force to spare, enough for him to continue transporting skill star cores. Soon Lin Moyu brought out the skill star cores twice in a row. No matter how angry the skill space was, it couldn't stop Lin Moyu. Antares once again got to watch the little black dots twice, and his mood was very good, not knowing what he had comprehended. Lin Moyu had 2 more stellar level spells. Soul Poison Fusion Degree 100% inflicts soul poison on the target, causing continuous damage. Duration, effect, and range are determined by soul level. Poison Starburst became Soul Poison. The key is that after Soul Poison was converted, it connected with Soul Curse, forming a dual star spell system. Antares opened his mouth wide, extremely shocked. The third multi-star spell, are you crazy? Lin Moyu also felt that he was a bit crazy. He didn't expect that after the skill star core could be converted into a spell star, even the name would change. He felt that this multi-star spell was more than just 2 stars, he also had the Soul Flame skill. If nothing unexpected happened, Soul Flame would also join it, becoming a member of the third multi-star spell system. But thinking about it carefully, it was a matter of course. After all, under the influence of infinite fusion skill, the 3 skills could fuse with each other, and even give birth to a trace of the law of time. This was enough to prove that these 3 skills were originally of the same kind. Now that they were converted into spells and formed a multi-star spell system, wasn't it the most normal thing? The last skill star core this time was also transported over and quickly converted into a spell star. Chapter 777, Antares is crazy. Soul Burning Fusion Degree 100% burns the target's soul. Duration, effect, and range are determined by soul level. Soul Flame became Soul Burning. Originally it was just a single target skill, now it has become a group spell. Of course, it can also be cast on a single target. Moreover, the duration and damage can be freely controlled. Also a Soul type skill, it formed a Soul type 3-star spell system together with Soul Curse and Soul Poison. Like Soul Poison, it deals damage to the soul. Compared to Soul Poison, Soul Burning is more intense and direct. It can even instantly unleash enormous damage according to Lin Moyu's will. But compared to Undead Gaze, it can control the amount of damage and is more flexible. After the 3-star spell system was formed, the power of the spell was greatly improved. Looking at the stellar dots and galaxy rotations in the soul, it really feels like becoming a cosmic starry sky. Compared to the empty skill space, the soul world is much more lively. Now there are only 4 skill star cores left in the skill space. They are the passive skill, Status Immunity, the summoning skill, Summon Bone Dragon, Undead Rebirth, and Infinite Fusion. Summon Bone Dragon goes without saying, as long as it's moved over, it will definitely join the summoning multi-star spell system, forming a 7-star spell, and greatly increasing the power of the spell again. What makes Lin Moyu most uncertain is the Undead Rebirth skill, which seems to be a summoning skill, but it doesn't seem to be. It's hard to judge. Lin Moyu admired his soul world. Antares was also admiring Lin Moyu's soul world. It was counting the number of stars, good heavens, 18 spell stars, 3 multi-star spell systems. From its tone, Lin Moyu heard a hint of shock. How many spell stars can the powerhouses of other races have? Antares instinctively replied, it's hard to say, some have more, some have less. The fewer have 4 or 5, the more have 10 or so. Suddenly it seemed to realize something. Of course, these are just ordinary powerhouses, those genius powerhouses are still very powerful, there are quite a few with more than 20 spell stars. Lin Moyu said, there are still 4 skill star cores in my skill space. After they are moved over, I can have more than 20, and there is also a summoning skill among them, which can form a 7-star spell system. 7 stars, Antares murmured, it would be great if there could be 9 stars. Lin Moyu asked, what is the highest number of stars possible? Antares said in a deep voice, there are legends in the great world that the highest can reach 10 stars, but it has never been achieved. What about 9 stars? Lin Moyu asked. Antares shook his head, I don't know, maybe there are, but I don't know. This thing sometimes depends on fate. If you don't have so many similar skills, it's difficult to make up for it later. Lin Moyu asked if he didn't understand, can't you learn it? Like Soul Peace technique. You can't learn it. What you learn the day after tomorrow can only ever be a planetary level spell, and the highest fusion degree can only reach 99%. Antares pointed to the spell planet representing Soul Piece technique. It had been mastered by Lin Moyu and converted into a spell planet, but the fusion degree was only 20%. Lin Moyu had also injected Soul Force at the time, but it didn't do anything. Lin Moyu suddenly understood. No wonder the power-gathering skill converted from the original rune only had a fusion degree of 99% after becoming a spell planet. There is actually such a restriction. Lin Moyu thought for a moment, even if he converted Summon Skeleton King into a spell star and joined the summoning multi-star spell system, it would only be an 8-star spell. It seems that talent really determines everything. If you want to become a 9-star, it depends on talent. He couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. Antares comforted. In fact, an 8-star spell is already very strong, a rare existence. A 9-star spell depends on fate, you can't force it. Lin Moyu smiled. I know, I'm very content. Huh. Antares suddenly let out a soft cry. Lin Moyu followed its gaze and saw his newly formed Soul Type 3-star spell system. Soul Burning, Soul Curse, Soul Poison. The 3 blazing stars formed a triangle, rotating around each other. But their rotation method was a bit strange, not as stable as the previous skeleton and summoning types. They were sometimes fast and sometimes slow, and their trajectories were sometimes large and sometimes small, looking a bit chaotic. Lin Moyu observed for a while. No matter how chaotic they were, they always revolved around a central point. This central point was emitting the aura of law. Antares' eyes widened. Time. Law of time, materialized. Its voice was filled with surprise, even some fear. But more of it was disbelief. The law of time, the most powerful law in the great world, ranking at least in the top 3 among all laws. Ethereal, elusive, and difficult to grasp are the hallmarks of the top-tier laws. Countless talented geniuses have been defeated by these laws, retreating to choose the second-tier laws. Antares finally came back to his senses, followed by a strange cry. Impossible, how could the law of time materialize? Something must be wrong. Something must be wrong. What's wrong with this world? Is the great world crazy? AAA0 seeking flowers A0. The last time I fused skills and used the law of time, Antares didn't react this strongly. This time it's just the manifestation of a law. Why is the reaction so big? As the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. Lin Mo didn't have a clear definition of the classification of laws, so he didn't feel much. Lin Mo looked at the frantic Antares. Are you okay? Antares shouted loudly, I've decided. Decided. Decided what? Lin Mo was stunned by Antares' state, not understanding what it was saying. Antares said, I've decided to live in your soul world permanently. I want to comprehend the law of time. When I comprehend the law of time, I'll go back and kill everyone. Let's see who can stop me. A large amount of soul power poured in from Antares' main body, and Antares' soul clone became stronger and stronger. 0. 0. The soul world rumbled, unable to bear it. Antares' soul was too strong, and Lin Mo's soul world was not strong enough to accommodate it. Antares was not without a sense of proportion. He kept the strength of his clone within the limit that Lin Mo could accept, and then began to comprehend without saying a word. Lin Mo didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This guy seemed more casual than his master. This is his soul world, and he treats it like his own home. But thinking about it, let him do whatever he wants, anyway, it doesn't affect him. You can comprehend, but you also need to pay attention to the situation of the human race, Lin Mo said. Antares' voice sounded, it's not like only you can multitask. With my level, let alone multitasking, I can handle 10 tasks at once. I'll keep an eye on your little girlfriends, and I won't let anything happen to them. The Blood Clan's methods are not worth mentioning, don't worry. Lin Mo also believed that Meng Anwen and others could handle it, and began to comprehend the laws again. He still chose to comprehend the law of immortality, not the law of time. He knew his own limitations and knew that his realm was still low. The law of time is a first-tier law, and it is definitely not easy to comprehend. Moreover, he had already gained a lot of insights into the law of immortality, so he couldn't give up halfway. In the human world, the capital of the Eagle Country. A huge aura soared into the sky. A roar echoed in the air, and the entire Eagle Country was filled with laws. Someone broke through to level 96. Countless thin red lines appeared in the human world, like strands of blood, flying towards the capital of the Eagle Country. A person with wings on his back, who looked 6 or 7 parts like a blood clan, appeared in midair, absorbing blood. A true blood feast begins. 10. Chapter 778 Slaughtering Divine Shah, welcoming the Master with blood sacrifice. Silav is the leader of the Eagle Country and also the strongest in the Eagle Country. A year ago, he was only level 94, not worth mentioning compared to the powerhouses in the Divine Shah Empire. He was also a contemporary of Meng Anwen and others, and they had dealt with each other. But Meng Anwen and Bai Yiyuan always suppressed him. There was no way, the national power of the Divine Shah Empire was too strong, and there were too many strong people. He could only endure his grievances. But now, he was surrounded by laws and had entered level 96, becoming a high-level god. Countless bloodlines flew in from all directions, weaving into a huge bright red net in the air. The bloodlines were absorbed by him, and his strength also increased sharply. His whole body was filled with blood, and his eyes were also replaced by bright red. The fangs in his mouth were gradually lengthening and becoming sharper. Bloodlines appeared on the wings on his back, and the whole person became thinner. He had deviated from the appearance that humans should have and was evolving in the direction of the Blood Clan. The blood feast was not as simple as mutating the injured, 027, people. Whether it was the first mutation or the second mutation, it was all for the sake of killing. 2 killings caused a large number of deaths and injuries. The Divine Shah Empire's counterattack began 2 days ago. The army was not dispatched, and the divine-level powerhouses of the Divine Shah Empire took action. In the fierce attack on the divine-level powerhouses, all the mutants had no power to resist. After research and discussion, the high-level officials of the Divine Shah Empire discovered that these mutants no longer belonged to humans, so there was no need to hold back. This time, the Divine Shah Empire launched a bloody campaign, launching a cleanup of the world with the power of one country. Those who offend my Divine Shah, even if they are far away, will be killed. The Divine Shah Empire used its own way to tell the world that they were the masters of this world. Soon, blood permeated the entire world. The blood feast also truly began at this moment. The dead are vegetables, and the living are diners. A few people ate meat, and most people could only drink soup. Silav's level increased again, reaching level 97. He was full. In addition to him, many people were devouring blood and evolving in the direction of the Blood Clan. Huge auras rose up, soaring into the sky. The level of the former gods has been improved. Several people close to the god level have now entered the god level. For a time, the strength of these leaders has greatly improved. The human world, the meta battlefield, and even the upper and lower spaces of the dragon world, the abyss, and the ancient battlefield. Under the earth in all directions, I don't know how many years of blood have accumulated, and now they are beginning to recover. This is the method of the Blood Clan. They feed on blood and have created various strange methods. Reviving the blood of the past and using blood to enhance their own strength can only be done by the Blood Clan. Thousands of years ago, the Blood Clan used its own bloodline, the Divine Shah human race bloodline, and mixed in some unknown flesh and blood to create another human race. A human race that is completely different from the Divine Shah Empire. Thousands of years later, this move was launched, and the blood of the Blood Clan broke out. These non-Divine Shah people instantly became slaves of the Blood Clan and became their tools of killing. The Blood Clan did not want to occupy the territory of this world, their methods were even more cruel. If the Divine Shah people are killed, then this world will belong to them. Even in the Great World, the Blood Clan is a relatively cruel race. Taking the blood of this killing as a guide, it activated the blood buried under the earth for I don't know how many years. Countless people evolved in the direction of the Blood Clan, and their strength greatly increased. Gradually, the entire Eagle Country was shrouded in red light. An invisible force descended across time and space, and a face belonging to the Blood Clan appeared in the air. This face was full of killing intent and kept roaring, "Kill! Kill! Kill!" The killing intent quickly covered the Eagle Country, and then spread to the whole world. The whole world is gradually being swallowed by blood, and those who have become slaves of the Blood Clan are now even more crazy. The changes in the human world fell into Antares's eyes, with disdain in his eyes. Only using such inferior methods, the Blood Clan is only worthy of becoming a lower race. They dare to intervene without even knowing their enemies. If they fail, it's okay, but if they succeed, they can wait to be exterminated. Antares knew far more about this world than he had imagined. The vampires clearly didn't know. The speed at which the blood light spread was increasing, covering most of the world in just half a day. Meng Anwen and the others also saw the blood light, and a bad feeling arose in their hearts. The enemy is becoming more and more insane. Their strength is increasing, and the rate of increase is very fast. The blood light will affect the mind. The eternal Great Wall seems to be able to resist the invasion of the blood light. Information gathered quickly. The blood light would drive people mad, but the eternal Great Wall could resist it. As long as the mind was firm enough, it would not be affected under the protection of the eternal Great Wall. A few people with weak minds would lose their reason. Chaos occurred everywhere in the Divine Summer Empire, but fortunately, there were not many such people, and the impact was not significant. Meng Anwen felt the blood light, and the influence was minimal for him. The slightest restlessness in his heart was instantly erased. He felt very uncomfortable under the illumination of the blood light. This discomfort was gradually accumulating. Meng Anwen knew that this matter could not be delayed any longer and needed to be resolved as soon as possible. Otherwise, even with the protection of the Eternal Great Wall, the ordinary people of Divine Summer would not be able to hold on for long. 0. When that time came, there would really be great chaos. Meng Anwen's soul power surged, sensing the blood light and finding its source. The Divine Summer Tower appeared and instantly formed a teleportation array. Ning Tyran, Yi Hao, Dongfang Yi and others came through the teleportation array. Meng Anwen said, "The source is in the capital of the Eagle Country, let's go." Damn it, I guessed that these guys were behind it. Let's go kill them. Eagle Country's capital, where the blood light was the most concentrated, was the source of the world's blood light. A teleportation array appeared in the air, the space-time channel opened, and Meng Anwen and others teleported over. As soon as they arrived, they heard Xiluo Fu's wild laughter. "You're finally here, much slower than I thought." Meng Anwen, how do you feel about our vampire's light? Vampire. So it was the vampires. Meng Anwen knew a lot of information and immediately thought of the root cause, his eyes slightly cold. "You have become slaves of the vampires." Xiluo Fu laughed loudly, and behind him, a group of god-level powerhouses also laughed. "We are not slaves, we are just the most loyal servants of the Blood Ancestor. The great Blood Ancestor is about to descend, this world will become the Blood Ancestor's property, and you will become the Blood Ancestor's food." Xiluo Fu seemed clear-headed, but was already affected. His eyes were full of madness, only one step away from transforming into a beast. Meng Anwen knew that it was useless to say more to such a person, the best way was to kill him. As long as he was killed, and all the corrupted people were killed, the world could be restored. At this moment, he chose the most simple 3.1 method, which was also Bai Yiyuan's favorite method. Meng Anwen whispered, "Kill them." With a point of his finger, the Divine Summer Tower instantly wove a huge killing array, the array symbols formed into blades, and charged out with the laws. Ning Tyran also held up his staff, and the fire law gathered into fire rain, burning the heavens and the earth. Yi Hao shouted coldly, a huge spear appeared in his hand, and he instantly killed Xiluo Fu. Faced with the three people's strong attacks, a blood curtain appeared in front of Xiluo Fu, the blood curtain with the law protected himself like armor. Xiluo Fu laughed loudly, making a non-human sound, "It's useless, you are only level 96, I am already level 97. In your Divine Summer words, a difference of one level is a world of difference, you have no chance. I know, your Emperor D is not here. Lin Mo Yu is not here either. Under the blood curtain, the transmission to the human world has been cut off. Even if Lin Mo Yu wants to come back, it is impossible. After we kill you, we will slaughter Divine Summer, and use blood sacrifices to welcome our master." Chapter 779, Am I strong or not? Is it your place to say? Xiluo Fu began to fight back, the blood-colored laws roared in the air. Meng Anwen's expression changed slightly. Xiluo Fu was indeed level 97, and was stronger than himself in terms of pure power. But actual combat power was not simply a matter of level, there were many other factors. Meng Anwen controlled the Divine Summer Tower, weaving a large number of formations to fight against Xiluo Fu. Ning Tyran, Yi Hao, and a group of god-level powerhouses from the Divine Summer Empire were not idle either, and immediately started fighting against the others. The heavens and the earth were almost shattered, and the entire capital of the Eagle Country was torn apart in an instant. Countless people in the capital died in the aftermath of the war. Their flesh and blood turned into mud, staining the earth red. But none of them were afraid, instead, their faces were filled with madness. They were not afraid of death. These people had already become part of the vampire clan and were controlled by the vampires. They had lost the attributes that humans should have. Ning Tyran said coldly, "Those who are not of our race must have different hearts, the ancestors did not deceive me. These guys are no longer human, kill them happily." Not only are these guys not human, but everyone in the world except for us in Divine Summer has become a vampire slave. Leave none behind, and restore the world to its former glory. One by one, killing intent soared to the sky, and the land of the Eagle Country fell into great disaster, with mountains collapsing and the earth cracking. 30. God-level powerhouses fought recklessly, and even the world could be shattered. In recent times, the number of dead creatures had exceeded hundreds of millions. Today's great battle would claim tens of millions more lives. These flesh and blood were absorbed by the blood curtain in the sky, and fed back to Zailuofu and others. Zailuofu's strength increased again, he wielded the laws and laughed madly, "Meng Anwen, you are not my opponent, I can finally step on you." Having been suppressed by Meng Anwen and others all his life, Zailuofu's heart was full of resentment, and it finally erupted at this moment. Meng Anwen did not say a word, he was looking for Zailuofu's weakness. Zailuofu seemed powerful, driving the blood-colored laws. But Meng Anwen felt that Zailuofu's understanding of the laws was not deep, and the power he could exert was extremely limited. He was clearly level 97, but his true combat power was not much higher than his own. Meng Anwen had a bottom line in his heart, and his hands struck out countless runes. The Divine Summer Tower became larger in the roar, and its power was more majestic than before. Meng Anwen turned from defense to offense and began to press Zailuofu to fight. In the ancient battlefield, Antares watched with relish. This guy's understanding of the Tao of Array is not bad. I seem to have underestimated him a bit before, he seems to be quite smart, and maybe he will have a chance to leave this world in the future. But compared to that brat, he is far behind. Lin Moyu was comprehending the laws at the moment, and did not pay attention to what was happening in the human race. If there was anything, Antares would call him. If he wasn't called, it meant everything was fine. With Antares around, he didn't need to worry. The great battle lasted for almost half a day. Meng Anwen completely understood Zailuofu's strength and began to gradually gain the upper hand. On the other battlefields, with Ning Tyran and Yi Hao, two level 96 high gods, Zailuofu's faction was retreating steadily. Several gods had already been killed by them. The scope of the battlefield was getting bigger and bigger, and the Eagle Country had been completely defeated. Cities were turned into ruins, the earth cracked, and the mountains and rivers were overturned. The more Zailuofu fought, the more unbelievable he found it, roaring again and again, "Impossible, impossible, I'm already level 97, you're only level 96, I can't possibly lose to you." Meng Anwen didn't speak, he attacked with all his strength, not giving Zailuofu any chance. Although he had the upper hand and suppressed Zailuofu, it wouldn't be possible to kill him in a short time. Moreover, Meng Anwen knew that he couldn't stop Zailuofu if he wanted to escape. "I have to think of a way, I can't let him escape." Meng Anwen thought of Lin Moyu. If little Yu was here, there would definitely be no problem. Unknowingly, Lin Moyu had grown to a point where even he needed to look up to him. He could even face the Dragon Emperor head-on, and easily kill high-level Dragon Kings. Dealing with a Zailuofu could be said to be effortless. Zailuofu became more and more crazy, and the blood-colored laws were about to explode. However, no matter how crazy he was, it was useless. This was the result of forced growth. Gradually, Zailuofu began to retreat. "Meng Anwen, I'll kill you when I reach level 98. Meng Anwen was shocked. Damn, he's going to escape. He hadn't thought of a way to deal with Zailuofu yet. Suddenly, a sharp black light came from afar, arriving in an instant. The black light was like lightning, crashing into Zailuofu. Zailuofu screamed and flew backwards for thousands of meters, the blood-colored laws collapsed. A huge wound stretched from his chest to his waist, and Zailuofu was almost cut in half by the black light. Fresh blood rained down, his blood with a hint of black, exuding a strong fishy smell, foul and unpleasant. Yan Guangsheng flew from afar with a large blade in his hand, and slashed at Zailuofu again from afar. Another black light flew out. Zailuofu screamed strangely, and fully supported the blood-colored laws for defense. The attack locked onto his soul, it was impossible to escape. The black light crashed into the blood-colored laws. With a bang, the blood-colored laws collapsed again. The remaining blade light penetrated Xiluo Fu's body again. One arm was directly cut off, collapsing into minced meat in the air. Xiluo Fu shouted loudly, "Impossible, how could you be so strong?" Yan Kuangsheng laughed loudly, "Is lousy strong or not, is it up to you to decide?" Yan Kuangsheng slashed again and again, and Xiluo Fu suddenly became extremely embarrassed. One slash broke his body, one slash broke his arm. If Xiluo Fu wasn't a high god with strong vitality, he would have died long ago. Once Yan Kuangsheng started, he wouldn't stop until the enemy was dead. His fighting style wasn't as steady as Meng Anwen's, but with a hint of madness. The nickname Mad God, Yan Crazy came from this. Meng Anwen watched in his eyes, mourning for Xiluo Fu for 3 seconds. He didn't expect Yan Kuangsheng to suddenly come over, and his combat power was obviously greatly improved compared to more than a year ago. Blade slices all directions. Yan Kuangsheng suddenly roared, and the killing intent laws exploded, covering a radius of thousands of meters. Xiluo Fu was swallowed by the killing intent, screaming non-stop, and after only a few seconds, he completely lost his movement. Yan Kuangsheng reached out and pulled out a head from the killing intent. It was Xiluo Fu's head. "I'm late," Yan Kuangsheng said. He seemed to have missed a lot during this retreat. Meng Anwen smiled, "It's good that you came, the battle here is almost over." With Xiluo Wu dead, the dragons had no leader, and the battle process became faster. Just as Meng Anwen was about to breathe a sigh of relief, a giant face appeared in the blood curtain. Not a human race, with fangs. As soon as it appeared, Meng Anwen became vigilant. "I didn't expect that even the level 97 blood slave was killed by you. You are very good, you are qualified to become this deity's blood slave." As it spoke, it looked towards Meng Anwen and Yan Kuangsheng. "Slave your sister," Yan Kuangsheng roared, and waved a black killing intent, blasting away the blood-colored giant face. The blood-colored giant face reappeared elsewhere in the next second. "It's useless, I'll give you 5 seconds to consider, after 5 seconds this deity will come in person, you will have no chance. Consider your sister." Yan Kuangsheng responded to him with killing intent. Becoming a slave of the blood race, he wouldn't be so unwise. As for Meng Anwen, it was even more impossible. "Since that's the case, then you can wait to die." The blood-colored giant face let out a sinister laugh, and the blood curtain began to churn violently. Chapter 780, Using the Blood Ancestors' Blood for Hot Pot. The blood curtain was like a sea, churning violently. Countless fresh blood rose from the earth, gathering in the air to form a huge blood clot. The blood clot turned into a human figure, grew wings, and a blood race person flew out of the blood clot. Yan Kuangsheng and Meng Anwen just glanced at him, and felt a great threat. The blood race and the human race looked 6 or 7 points similar. They were more emaciated, more than 2 meters tall, but their body shape was half the size of ordinary human race. It looked like a long pole. A pair of huge wings slowly beat behind him, making a crackling sound. "Waste. You have disgraced the great blood ancestor, you are not qualified to exist." He snorted disdainfully. The Xiluo Fu revealed in Yan Kuangsheng's hand exploded. Not only Xiluo Fu exploded, but the remaining blood race slaves also exploded. Becoming a blood race slave, life and death are not up to you. He acted as if he had done something insignificant. "First time meeting, let me introduce myself, my name is Adam, from the blood race. You killed this deity's blood slave, but refused to become this deity's new blood slave. So I now formally sentence you to death." Adam's voice was cold, and with his voice, the blood curtain in the air set off huge waves like an ocean. "Die your sister," Yan Kuangsheng shouted angrily, and slashed black light towards Adam. The black light contained the killing intent laws, sweeping across the world. Adam smiled contemptuously, "You know nothing about power." He stretched out his finger and tapped on the black light as fast as lightning, and the black light immediately collapsed. Adam only trembled slightly, and blocked Yan Kuangsheng's attack. Meng Anwen narrowed his eyes. "Lao Yan, continue." Yan Kuangsheng shouted loudly and started again. The whole person rushed forward, and the black killing intent surged and enveloped Adam. Adam smiled sinisterly again and again. "It's useless, you are not even demigods, you are just ants in this deity's eyes. Little ants trying to resist, there is no chance." Yan Kuangsheng shouted loudly, "We are not ants, and you are not an elephant. Even if we are, enough ants can kill a dragon and an elephant." That's right. A fire ignited, and Adam suddenly burst into flames. Ning Tyran rushed back, controlling the fire element and joining the battle. Adam's blood-colored law was activated, instantly extinguishing the fire, and at the same time, he punched Yan Kuangsheng. A blood-colored giant fist appeared in the air, slamming Yan Kuangsheng back thousands of meters with a bang. Yan Kuangsheng shouted and charged back again. Yi Hao arrived, his spear vibrating, and also joined the battle. The 3 level 96 advanced gods joined forces to fight Adam alone. Meng Anwen narrowed his eyes, watching the battle. Gradually, he discovered that Adam was not as strong as he had imagined. Perhaps his main body is strong, but what appears here is not his main body. At most, it can only be considered a clone condensed from blood. Meng Anwen could sense that power was constantly entering Adam's clone from the blood curtain, maintaining Adam's consumption. And in the previous war, countless people died in the Eagle Country, and the flesh and blood of those dead also flowed into the blood curtain, becoming a member of the blood curtain. Since the main body has had enough fun, I'll send you to die. Bloodwash. Adam suddenly smiled coldly, and a large amount of blood light rushed out, pushing the 3 back. The blood light carried immense power, and the 3 were injured. Meng Anwen couldn't see Adam's level, but it seemed that he was not even a demigod. He should be between level 98 and demigod. In that case, they are not without a chance. Delay. Meng Anwen's voice rang in the ears of Yan Kuangsheng and the other 2. The 3 once again besieged Adam. Meng Anwen flew into the Shengxia Tower, and the Shengxia Tower drilled into the blood curtain like lightning. The next moment, the Shengxia Tower began to absorb the blood curtain. The Shengxia Tower has a huge space, although not as huge as the Trial Tower, it can still accommodate a large number of objects. The blood curtain was sucked into the tower and turned into a rolling sea of blood in the tower. The blood curtain, which had originally covered most of the world, began to shrink rapidly at this moment. Adam felt the power of the blood curtain weakening and screamed, looking for death. He punched the Shengxia Tower, and the Shengxia Tower shone with golden light, forming a formation to block Adam's attack. The Shengxia Tower is a legendary level artifact, and its body is extremely strong. In addition, Meng Anwen watered it with laws every day, and there was also formation protection. Even Adam could not do anything to the Shengxia Tower in a short time. What's more, there were Yan Kuangsheng and the other 2 entangled, and Adam couldn't attack the Shengxia Tower with all his strength. More and more blood curtains were absorbed by the Shengxia Tower, and Adam's power began to slowly weaken. He was completely angry. You have angered me. Humble ants, you all deserve to die. A red light rushed out of his body and entered the blood curtain. Blood sacrifice, please welcome the ancestor. All the blood slaves around the world exploded at the same time, without exception. Massive amounts of blood merged into the blood curtain, and the blood curtain, which had already shrunk, instantly expanded, becoming even larger than before, and in a blink of an eye, it enveloped the entire world. The blood curtain covered the sky and the sun, and the human world turned blood-colored at this moment. A heartbeat came from the blood curtain, as if a giant was awakening. In the sound of the heartbeat, the influence of the blood curtain was magnified many times. In the Shengxia Empire, thousands of people lost their minds and suddenly did crazy things. They collectively chose to commit suicide, constantly chanting, "Welcome the blood ancestor." The heartbeat became more and more intense, and each heartbeat would set off waves in the blood curtain. The blood curtain turned into a sea of blood at this moment, and there was a giant awakening in the sea of blood. A huge heart projection appeared in the sea of blood, the heart beating strongly and powerfully, and the heart alone was larger than the Shengxia Empire. The sea of blood that enveloped the world was only a part of the giant's body. Adam laughed and said, "AI 1/2, this is the heartbeat of the blood ancestor, what a wonderful sound. Your world will become a part of the blood ancestor, you should feel honored." The faces of Yan Kuangsheng and the other 2 finally changed. Such a powerful existence is completely beyond their ability to contend with. The immense pressure spread out, falling on everyone. Everyone groaned and found it difficult to breathe. Just the pressure made them unable to move. The Shengxia Tower shook violently, and could no longer absorb a trace of blood. The next second, the Shengxia Tower was knocked out of the blood curtain and crashed heavily on the ground. Meng Anwen flew out of the Shengxia Tower, with blood on the corner of his mouth, obviously injured. The other party was too strong, so strong that it was despairing. What kind of existence is this? Meng Anwen and others could not imagine. Transcendence. Definitely not transcendence, far stronger than transcendence. Blood ancestor, bah, he dares to come to the place where I sleep. I'll use his blood to make hot pot. A voice roared, and then a giant claw crossed the space and accurately, Zhao Mahao grasped the heart of the blood ancestor. Then with a bang, the heart was crushed. The blood ancestor projection also collapsed in an instant and disappeared. The blood curtain collapsed at the same time, and it rained blood all over the world. No, Adam's face changed drastically, and he let out a terrified scream. No, your sister. Yan Guangsheng seized the opportunity and slashed at Adam's head with a large knife. Ning Tyran and Yi Hao also reacted and launched a fierce attack on Adam. Adam remained motionless, like a target for Yan Guangsheng and others to attack. In a blink of an eye, he was blown up. It's finally over. After killing Adam, Ning Tyran and others breathed a sigh of relief. Yan Guangsheng whispered, "Did the Lord take action?" Meng Anwen nodded, "Only the Lord could do it. Besides Antares, who else could easily deal with the blood curtain?" After all, that was the blood ancestor. Even if it was just a projection, it made them breathless and even made it difficult to move. But Antares easily crushed it like crushing an egg. Antares' strength far exceeded their imagination.